Ace has knowledge on Blackbeard's abilities?
Oh, wait, so basically my position here is that Ace outscales, not necessarily that he wins.
Okay. Like, what do you mean by outscales?
Yeah, by outscales, I mean that, like, that he's just a stronger overall combatant, regardless if he loses to some, like, external situational, like, matchup thing that applies to these characters
Oh my
and how
god.
they compare to each other because of their abilities. Like, yeah, I know that Blackbeard did beat him in canon, but that doesn't necessitate that Blackbeard outscales him. They're two distinct things.
He's just a stronger overall combatant. Overall being what?
Yeah,
Is his devil
overall,
fruit, is his
basically,
devil fruit considered overall, or is it just his stats?
no, overall, I'm obviously including like every battle statistic, but the whole distinction with the whole devil
Does
fruit
that
here.
include his devil fruit?
Okay, but what I'm saying is that the devil fruit has a situational ability that only works on devil fruit users.
No, I understand, but I'm saying like you can say it for any devil fruit ability.
No, I don't think you can show like any devil fruit that like only works on other devil fruit users and
That
doesn't
wasn't
have
my
like
point. My point is that you. My point wasn't that you can literally find any like devil fruit that would have the same stipulation as Blackbeard's. I'm saying like you can point out to any arbitrary advantage any devil fruit would give you in a battle and say, oh wait, no, this is just because he's fighting a devil fruit user.
No, dude. Okay, so I'm not saying like any advantage. I mean an advantage that would only apply to a subset of characters. In this case, Blackbeard's advantage would only apply to devil fruit users versus other devil fruit's advantages would
Yeah, but then
apply like
that's like
generally.
saying that's like saying the advantage future sight gives you only applies to like non-future sight users. Cool, but like, what do you see what I'm saying?
Wait, so you're saying the future sight like wouldn't give you an advantage against future sight? It can't give you an advantage against other future sight users. Okay, so how are you going to go ahead and prove that? Like, what?
I don't know if you're
And
being like
also, wait,
I don't.
I'm
He's
also
not gonna
confused.
prove
How
it.
is that a reductio either? Like, I don't see like the issue why future sight can't be like an ability that
No,
Yeah.
that's not the point. The point is that it can be, but my point is that it being possible, these things, these analogies, that can be the case, is supposed to highlight the flaw in your logic.
We know
So
it's
it's not
possible.
inherently flawed in the sense that you can't use it. You
no,
can
bro.
use
It's
it, but I
not
just think it's
flawed
pretty
because I have
retarded to
evidence
use.
in this case. You bring up random possibilities. Like, what does that do?
I know
for you?
I'm bringing up random analogies because I'm trying to highlight the fact that I think it's pretty retarded. Like you can use it, you can use this logic. It's not necessarily logically flawed, but I'm saying like this distinction that you're pointing out that Blackbeard has this advantage against this set of people doesn't really tell me anything because I can use that for anybody. So like when you're saying, oh, who outscales who, and then you want to like bring up like Ace's fire technique, I can just say, oh, but Ace's like this technique only applies to people who like don't have fire resistance. You see how like you can say it's like a matchup thing to any subset of abilities that are like outside of stats. So we can just go over stats if you want, but then that would just like be not including Ace's devil.
Okay, wait, that's retarded. Just because it's possible that like abilities can counter each other, that doesn't mean that it's actually like relevant to this conversation. Like, are you aware of like what Alder's razor is? That would basically state that if we don't like see it off observation, then there's no reason of talking about it in a debate.
Are
Like
you
literally,
retarded?
I think
dude,
you're
what do you mean that
retarded.
I'm
Are
retarded,
you
bro?
actually retarded? Okay,
Guys,
Nigga,
stop
can you, like,
insulting
let me
each
address what I'm
other.
saying?
I think you're retarded.
Are you listening? Can you repeat to me what I said? Because I don't think you're
Stop
listening. What you
insulting
just
each
said,
other,
what you just said right
guys.
now doesn't imply that you're listening to me. Can you repeat what I said? What was my point?
Why y'all crashing out, bro? Just a debate,
I just want to know what
man.
my point was, because you just not. If you think I'm just bringing up random analogies and not giving any context for why they matter to the discussion, then you're just not listening.
Yeah, you're just saying shit. Zkiller goes to retarded.
Yeah, and I want to know what he thinks my point is, because I'm sure he's not listening, which is why I'm like,
He thinks it's
I want
retarded.
to
He
know.
just
Okay, yeah, I can repeat what your point is.
Okay, what is my point, please?
Okay, yeah, basically what you're trying to say is that this whole matchup advantage thing is something that we can apply to any ability, and that it's not something that would just like apply here, or that it possibly can apply to like any subset of abilities. But what I'm saying is basically you would have to show how that can apply to any subset of abilities and how it wouldn't just be a thing that like applies to like some abilities. Like you have to actually show that it's a common or like a plausible thing.
I gave multiple analogies regarding Ace himself. I gave an analogy regarding Ace himself. What else do you want me to show?
Yeah, what was that analogy then again?
I said you can say Ace's ability only has like a certain what is called Ace's ability only works against Blackbeard because he doesn't have fire resistance. Therefore, it's a matchup event.
Okay, yeah, that's retarded. The reason why that's retarded is because, like, fire resistance is inherently an uncommon thing.
Why?
We literally, in One Piece, we don't see like a lot of characters that have fire resistance.
What do you mean? Hockey grants you fire resistance.
Okay, bro, like, can you prove that?
Yeah, we see characters endure flame attacks with Hockey. Sanji says he uses it to use Ifrit Jambe. He literally states it. It's one of the reasons that he gives why he can use Ifrit Jambe, because he has Hockey.
Wait, no, that
grants
can
him
just
film
be
resistance.
that can just be a higher durability thing. I don't see why we'd have to
Higher
grant that.
durability in the context of resisting flames, which is flame resistance.
Wait, so you're telling me any type of durability boost would be flame
No,
resistance?
I said in the context of resisting flames, your durability would equate to flame resistance. In that specific context, yes. If somebody says,
so you're telling me that flame resistance is needed
if somebody says, I have this level of Hockey, therefore I can use this temperature of flames without burning myself, then that means that their Hockey grants them higher heat resistance. Yes. That's what that means.
Yeah, basically what you're trying to say is that, like, heat resistance.
Wait, you
is
don't
what
think
needed to
heat
withstand
resistance?
these
How the
attacks.
fuck did
I'm asking
Virgo take
why.
Sanji's kick?
Stop interrupting.
How did Virgo take Sanji's kick to the face without getting like his entire fucking shit burned off?
Hey. Now, Future said it's going to be cordial, so it's going to be cordial, and that's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, this nigga's just
sorry.
like dick riding for no reason.
I'm
bro.
sorry, Isaac. I'm sorry. The motion has me triggered. I'm sorry. I shouldn't take it.
No, you're good. You're good. Just
Zkiller, do you have
like,
any sort of respect for the linearity?
I didn't even do you that bad, man.
After
Come
we
on.
talking Isaac him.
You're good. I do think that you're like being weird because you're just like you're just not accepting a very easily acceptable. But go ahead.
How am I being?
Because
Dude,
you acknowledging what I'm saying and accepting it doesn't prove any like it doesn't hurt you in any way. It's just an obvious fact that is like so agreeable. I don't know why you're disagreeing with it. It's just so trivial. It's like you want to disagree with everything. Like me saying that I can say that Ace has like an advantage in a certain thing, like, oh, Ace's like trickery would only work against somebody who's dumb, so that's like a matchup advantage. That's like something that's so agreeable and easy, and it doesn't hurt you in any way to agree to that. It's just supposed to give you a greater understanding for why I think like you bringing up the fact that we shouldn't talk about Blackbeard's Devil Fruit is kind of dumb. And if we're not going to talk about Blackbeard's Devil Fruit, then I don't want to talk about Ace's Devil Fruit either.
Wait,
Because
what'd you
it's kinda
say about
weird.
the whole dumb thing? I didn't really hear you there.
I just said I'm just explaining why I think that if you don't want to talk about Blackbeard's Devil Fruit, then I don't want to talk about Ace's Devil Fruit either. Because I think that any set of like unnatural abilities grants you like a certain level, or even natural abilities like IQ and battle intelligence. Any set of abilities can grant you like certain matchups where you can say, oh, it only works because it's this certain matchup against this type of fighter. But I'm just saying like that's kind of dumb because we can point to like anything that would work that way. So you can use that. That is a logically coherent thing to say. But then I'll just say like, okay, I don't want to do the same with Ace either. I only want to go over physicals, or we're going over everything. We're not just saying like, oh, Blackbeard doesn't have access to his Devil Fruit, but we're gonna debate Ace with his access to his. That's kind of stupid.
Okay, wait. So I'm not saying that. Oh my god, bro. Yeah. So like, I literally asked you. So how can you prove you can point towards anything, like possibly being a matchup advantage under this same logic, bro?
Why are we going back to that? I already explained, and then you asked me how. Then I explained how. Are you gonna respond to how, or are you just like gonna go back to asking me?
Yeah, you didn't really explain.
What do you mean that I didn't explain? Explain how I didn't explain. Because I'm not gonna repeat myself. You don't even know what I said. What did I say?
Yeah, basically you were just saying that. Oh well, it's a possibility or whatever. But I already refuted
That's
that.
all I
don't
said?
see why that's relevant.
That's all I said?
I mean, you also like brought up like analogies or whatever, but I
Okay,
asked you
and is
why
the
these
analogy not
analogies
relevant?
Actually, matchup advantages. Yes, and
Okay,
the
and what was my response to that question?
yeah, the analogy that you gave was like basically.
What was my response to that question?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the response. Can we get the music bot out of here?
Yeah, this bot is like,
Okay, yeah, basically you would be saying that like a possible advantage that Ace had is like burning people because like they don't have fire resistance. Then I told you, okay, can you like show fire resistance within One Piece? And then
Mhm.
basically you're trying to use Sanji to prove this. And then I'm
Mhm.
basically saying, okay, this could just be durability. You said
Mhm.
no, that it is heat resistance, and durability in the context of like this would be heat resistance. Which I
Mhm.
asked you why, and then you just never proved that. Like, dude,
Why? Okay, do you want me to like use different words? I don't understand. What do you mean by why? This is something that's so
dude, have
trivially
you even
true.
sent the scans?
Wait,
Like, I don't think you sent the
no,
scans either.
Isaac, because you didn't ask for scans. But Isaac, this is something that's so trivially true. I don't know how you want me to prove it. So I'll just reword it. I'll just not use the word durability because for some reason you have an issue with that word. I'll just say fire resistance. Yes, something granting you higher fire resistance means that you have higher fire resistance. Sanji saying that he's going to use this hockey to endure
Are you
hotter
stupid,
flames
bro?
means that he has higher fire resistance. Yes, because using durability and fire resistance is substitutable. That was my point. You can use either of those words and they mean the same thing if you look at the context. But if you have such a big problem with that word, then sure, we don't have to use that word. But you're not attacking anything. You're attacking the words that I'm using, but you're not attacking the actual point. And here's the scan in general if you want it. And
Wait,
there's
so
also
if
a double
durability
scan
in
that states
general
this
can be
too.
used as fire resistance, and why wouldn't we like use Blackbeard's durability for that?
That's
You're
not what I
saying
said. I
no,
said
no, no.
it's
What
a
you're trying to
contextual
attribute,
thing.
dude, bro. Can you let me finish? You keep cutting me off. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, but you just said something incredibly stupid.
No, bro. What you're trying to do is attribute like Blackbeard's lack of durability to having a lack of heat resistance. Yeah, you would have to show that Blackbeard has a lack of durability then. Like, dude.
Okay, my point isn't that you don't if durability equals heat resistance. That's not my point. My point is that you can substitute those words in certain contexts, right? So if I say, for example, oh, this door makes me tougher, right? Or this door makes me more durable, and it's in the context of enduring fire, right? Then that would mean that that door grants you greater ability to endure fire, which is just heat resistant. So that doesn't mean that anything that makes you more durable. Durability comes in all shapes and forms. So that's not what it means. And obviously Blackbeard doesn't have like heat resistance or else he wouldn't get burned. Or I guess his heat resistance would just be so incredibly low because humans do inherently have heat resistance, but it's just like not at a high level.
All right, wait. Let me just read the scan. Into exoskeleton, muscle, and all speed, all of which increase strength. Add the armament hockey developed to his exoskeleton. Together, my legs are toughable, even supporting hotter flames. Okay, so I want you to prove that this is durability in the sense that you're saying it, which would just be synonymous with heat resistance rather than like actual durability.
Okay. Yeah, because the thing that Sanji uses to contextualize this is by saying I'm capable of enduring hotter flames.
Okay, wait. He attributes this to his armament hockey. He literally says, which
I
armament
agree,
hockey.
he did.
Okay, wait, dude. Do you not think that like fucking Blackbeard doesn't have armament hockey? And what's the
That's
distinction
my
between
point.
Oh my god, what's the distinction between armament
Are
hockey
you not tracking?
durability and normal durability? Yeah, what am I not tracking, dude? Since you're
Okay,
putting
you're
them
not tracking. Okay, my point was that a lot of people have fire resistance because armament hockey grants you fire resistance. You saying Blackbeard has armament hockey is my point. So you saying, oh, Ace having this advantage against a certain person does not matter because a lot of people don't have fire resistance. I'm saying that's fucking retarded. That's not true because a lot of people have fire resistance. It's the reason for why Sanji doesn't burn the fuck out of everybody he fights every single time he fights.
Wait, no, here's the thing, because when you mean fire resistance, I mean it by a different thing. Like basically what you're trying to say it in this context is durability, but I don't see what's the distinction
No,
between
okay, but this
durability
is the
from
problem. You're
armament
getting
hockey
too
and
caught up in
actual
the
durability.
words. You just listen to the meaning. You're getting too caught up in the words. It's the reason for why I substituted the word durability for resistance. You can ignore the word. The word durability doesn't matter. The fact is that armament hockey grants you greater ability to resist flames. Right? It's the reason for why when Sanji kicks Virgo in the face, Virgo, the armament hockey master, he doesn't get burnt. He just gets kicked and he starts bleeding. It's the reason for why when Sanji kicks Doflamingo, his fucking coke that's made out of feathers doesn't burn because he's using armament hockey. So
Okay,
like,
wait, I think you're
people
confused
have
on what I
armament
mean by
hockey, and armament hockey grants you heat resistance. So me saying that Ace having a certain type of advantage against somebody who doesn't have heat resistance isn't some sort of crazy analogy that doesn't exist in One Piece because a lot of people have heat resistance.
yeah, you're confused on what I mean by heat resistance. What I mean is like the ability to get less burned, like external from like your durability or hardness, bro. So yes, like you just not understanding what
Your
I meant by
ability
heat
to be
resistance.
burnt, your ability to be burnt, your ability to be burnt would directly coincide
Wait, do you
with
not see
your
how
heat
this would be
resistance, your
irrelevant?
heat resistance. No.
Okay, wait.
When I say heat resistance, that's your ability to not be
Fucking
burnt.
pedantic over the like fucking words, bro.
This is not pedantic. You're the person who's focusing on the words. You're like, I don't understand.
Dude, this has no bearing on my actual point. Like, are you a retard?
It does. No, it does because it does because your only problem with my analogy is that it's stupid because apparently people in One Piece don't have heat resistance.
No, but here's the thing. What you're trying to do is you're trying to attribute like Blackbeard having a lack of this thing that he literally has to say that it would be a matchup advantage or like a possible matchup
What
advantage.
thing that he had?
How is that the case? If he doesn't like lack this armor and hockey and this durability.
No. That's the point. If Blackbeard didn't have arm and hockey, then I could say it's a matchup advantage, right? Do you see how me pointing out the fact that it's a matchup advantage doesn't actually speak to any sort of like difficult, like weird.
Okay, wait, but then you didn't really.
Weird substantive advantage that's one person has over another. My point is that a lot of people have a lot of advantages in any regular fight. So you can say Blackbeard has this advantage in the fact that he has a Devil Fruit. However, you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to consider Blackbeard's Devil Fruit in his scaling because his Devil Fruit does grant him scaling. His Devil Fruit grants him gravitational pull, which has a certain type of force. It's equivocal to a fucking star. You can't say like Blackbeard's Devil Fruit doesn't amp his punches because he does use it to amp his punches. You can't say Blackbeard's Devil Fruit doesn't grant him certain things like defense because he can endure things and he can like absorb things with his Devil Fruit, which grants him defense. So you can't just say, oh, because you have like an unfair advantage, then that means that you can't use it or consider it in scaling because everybody has a certain advantage in any battle. My advantage against you in this debate is the fact I'm smarter than you. You see how like
you are kind of retarded.
That's the relevant thing to bring up.
All right, bro. Like, are you gonna stop like nigger babbling? Because are you gonna let me speak?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. All right. So like, all right. What I meant by asking you for a basis for why like a matchup advantage can apply in any situation. I mean, like in a quantifiably like actually relevant context. If everybody in the New World has fucking hockey, then it's irrelevant bringing up, oh yeah, that there could be cases where there's a lack of hockey, or there could be cases where there's a lack of whatever that would like bring anything to like attribute to a matchup advantage. I want to show you that in like an actual relevant context.
Because I'm not attacking. Wait, I'm not saying this is an advantage that can be observed in most cases in One Piece. That's not my point. I'm simply attacking the idea and the fact that it's stupid, right? So anybody who uses fire would have an inherent advantage against anybody in One Piece if they don't have heat resistance, aka if they don't have hockey or some sort of way to resist heat outside of their natural heat resistance.
Bro,
so anybody please tell me. Wait. No, I'm gonna clarify.
Can you shut the fuck up and let me
wait. Because I was in the middle of speaking. I mean, I understand. I want you to like. I've been cutting you off, but like I didn't cut you off right now because I was in the middle of speaking. But for example, in the pre-time skip, people don't have hockey, or a lot of people don't have hockey. So Sanji can't use Diablo Jambe against Jabra. We can't take that into consideration because Jabra doesn't have hockey. It's not going to be fair. Sanji can't use Diablo Jambe against Ryuma. Ryuma can't use Dragon Blaze against Zoro. Zoro can't use Dragon Blaze against anybody because that's fire. They don't have heat resistance. That's not fair. Luffy can't use Red Hawk against anybody who doesn't have hockey, which is like quite a few people. I don't know, like even like the level of hockey, you can say like, oh, this guy's hockey level isn't like really strong, so he doesn't have that great heat resistance, meaning that X person has an advantage. Like you see how this argument is so fucking stupid, right? And I'm not saying it's not logically sound, it's logically sound, but I'm saying you're not actually pointing out any like crazy thing because a lot of people have a lot of advantages. You saying that's the reason for not taking into consideration with your scaling, it's just kind of stupid. And are you going to take into consideration my IQ point? The point that people who have higher IQ than others do have an unfair inherent advantage over them?
All right, bro, can you like let me like fucking speak now? Like Jesus is slowly.
Like, I'll let you speak for a long time because I was speaking for a long time. Go ahead.
Okay, bro. So like what you're using to like reference these possible advantages in the context of a New World fight is just super unlikely because in the New World, it's very unlikely to see people that don't have hockey. And then you bringing up the whole like hockey like level thing is irrelevant because like basically my or like my fire like outweighing your hockey level or whatever isn't like an advantage. That's just my like fire outscaling your hockey. Like that's not an inherent advantage. And you bringing up the whole like higher IQ in a debating thing. Okay, debates are centered around IQ.
Isaac.
I mean, you obviously don't have higher IQ, like so you wouldn't be making an argument like this. 'Cause,
Isaac,
like, you're
can
a
I just
fucking
say
retard,
something?
bro? Like literally.
Bro, I said that like 5 minutes ago. Like, just leave it in the
Sounds
past,
like
okay?
Zkiller's
Isaac,
getting hurt,
can I just say
man.
something real quick? Okay,
Yeah,
so
Zkiller's getting fucking killed, bro. Like this nigga's crashing out. And
okay, cool, dude. Okay, cool.
Okay.
But I'm done with the theatrics. Okay, I'm just gonna actually address the substance. So basically, right? Any form of hacks is not inherently unfair. What we mean by unfair, it means that you have something that another person is not equipped to deal with, or at least they're not equipped to deal with it to a like necessary degree, right? So you're gonna have a hard time dealing with something. That's all I mean by unfair. So when you're saying, oh, it's not unfair because they're just weak, I can say, oh, it's not unfair that BlackBeard can grab Ace from a million fucking miles away with his gravitational pull because Ace is just weak. He should be strong enough to resist it. But obviously, there's different like. But what I mean by unfair isn't like what you're thinking about. You're thinking about a very childish notion of unfair. What I mean by unfair is simply you have something that the other person is just inherently not equipped to deal with. Which in this case, BlackBeard has a Devil Fruit negating ability, which Ace is not equipped to deal with because he's a Devil Fruit reliant fighter. So my point is that if you're fighting a dumb person, they're not equipped to deal with your intelligence. If you're fighting somebody who doesn't have heat resistance, they're not equipped to deal with your heat. My point isn't that, oh, a lot of people in One Piece are fucking stupid, so that means that they're like inherently disadvantaged because like they're fighting against a smart person. I'm not saying this is literally the case. I'm just bringing up examples as to how your logic doesn't really make much sense because I can break it down to a lot of different minute details about a person and their fighting style and explain how that grants them an unfair advantage over somebody, which unfair in this context simply means they're not equipped to deal with it to a very high degree. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. I gave a
This
distinction.
is such an agreeable thing. I'm sorry, but like this is so agreeable. Just agree with it because it doesn't hurt you in any way. We're just actually wasting our time here.
All right, can you like let me fucking finish and stop like begging me to concede, bro? You're getting beat up and just begging.
I don't
me to
care if
concede.
I don't care. No, it's not a concession. You can just this. We're literally just setting the pretense to our debate. We're not even debating right now. Go ahead.
Bro. Okay, wait. I give a distinction between the equiptiveness, though. Yeah, basically, I'm like, you're just asserting like overall equiptiveness, and then basically I'm.
What is equiptiveness?
referencing, like-
I'm sorry. Can you just define? I don't know what that means. I don't understand what you're saying. I didn't want to cut you
Wait,
off. But I
no.
just don't
Okay,
understand
so
what you're
let me
saying.
just rephrase that. Like how equipped you are to deal with something. Basically, what I'm referencing is how equipped you are to deal with something situational, versus what you're bringing up are universal things. So basically,
No, I'm bringing up very
you're not actually
situational
attacking
things.
the distinction that I've been giving the entire debate. Like,
Isaac, I'm bringing up situational things. I'm saying in a situation where a dumb person is finding a smart person, there is an unfair advantage in that category. In a situation where, like, you see how this is situational? I'm not just saying this is like a universal thing that applies to everybody. Obviously, being stupid isn't something that everybody suffers
yeah,
from.
that's not what I mean by situational in this context, and I think you know that, bro. It's
You said
literally-
universal. What else would you mean by that?
yes, I mean like universal in a fight, or like
Yeah, but
universal.
what
in
else?
like, a debate.
But explain what else do you mean by
Universal
situational?
debated. I mean universal in the context of what we're talking about, bro.
I know,
Like,
but
I literally-
I just brought up an analogy as to how it's situational in the context of what we're talking about. So explain how I'm being like disingenuous or not understanding. I don't understand. What did I say just now
so
that was
what I mean by
incorrect?
situational in the context is something like, let's say, a debate, like something that can always be used in debate versus something that like can't always be used, or something
Okay,
that can
but
always
I
be
just
used in a
I
fight.
just explained
You know?
why you can't always use your intelligence to beat somebody because that's presupposing that everybody you're fighting is going to be dumber than you, and that's obviously not necessarily true.
Okay, you
So that
can't
is
always
situational.
debate.
That is
Dude, I never
situational.
said it. Oh my god, you're so fucking stupid. Wait, so I'm not.
You just said you just said what I said is not situational.
Stop cutting me off, you fucking retard, bro.
I'm sorry,
so
but
I'm
you're just not
saying you always
tracking
use your
so hard.
intelligence to beat somebody. What I'm saying is that you always use your intelligence to like benefit you in a debate, regardless if you're on the losing side of that or if it's neutral or even. It's still something that you utilize in that debate. How is that hard to understand, retard? Like, please, fucking track. Jesus.
Okay, but that's just gonna be a person by person thing. Like
Oh, this
for
thing's so
example, wait, for example, right? We don't have to use intelligence because you have a problem with that. I don't understand why I need to keep on giving different analogies for you to just understand this very simple. So let's say your lifting strength, right? Let's say I could pick you up and slam you with such force that your spine fucking cracks. but I'm not that good at striking, and I'm not that fast, right? So that means when I'm fighting people, I have that situational advantage. You're not actually equipped to deal with that slamming ability because it like bypasses your durability to some extent due to force distribution. So I can slam you on the fucking ground and destroy your internal organs, right? It's obviously not true, but it's just an analogy, right? Let's say I'm strong enough to do that, right? Therefore, you can say that that's an unfair advantage you have. That's a circumstantial advantage that you have that only applies in that fight because I'm fighting somebody with weaker lifting strength than me. You see how that doesn't matter, right? Because I can point out a multitude of facets of somebody's capabilities, and it's never going to be equal.
Wait,
Two people are
Zkiller,
never wait. Two people are never gonna have an equal quality of abilities. Two people are always gonna vary in different stats, in different categories, in different ideas, in different ways. So you're never gonna have an equal fight or a fight that's not inherently unfair or skewed in a certain way, in a certain context or category. So BlackBeard does have an advantage in the category of the fact that Ace can't use his double fruit. But Ace, I would say, has the advantage in the fact that BlackBeard's a fucking dumbass that likes to take attacks and lets his guard down. Does that mean that the fight is inherently unfair? We just can't consider it? No, we can still consider it.
All right, well, I'm gonna repeat myself one time. Wait, now let me just ask you a question. So,
Yeah.
like every time you're fighting somebody, you can use your lifting strength, right?
Not necessarily.
Wait, no, let's say that not I mean like in a normal fight.
Yeah, I know, but
Like,
like you
in
can
real
fight
life
against
fight.
somebody who's in projectile. Your
Okay,
lifting strength
what?
is not going to help you
Dude.
win that fight.
Okay, I mean like in a fist fight. Yes, lifting strength can be used to help you
Yeah, but you're
in that
okay.
fight, right?
What do you mean, like hands to hands? Like I'm gonna fucking pick you up?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I don't think you can always use your lifting strength to win that fight because what
Wait,
if
no,
the
not
person
to win.
is way
No,
fast?
that's not what I'm saying.
Oh,
Can you use that-
just to help you in the fight?
Yes.
I mean, potentially, yeah. It
Oh my
depends.
god, bro, you're such a fucking rat. This nigga said potentially.
No, potentially because it potentially because my lifting strength isn't always going to help me. Because in certain instances, right, where I'm fighting fist to fist with somebody, if they're just way
Okay, even
faster
if it
than me,
doesn't help you, can you utilize it within that fight? Like, I mean, just like
not
use it at all.
necessarily like against like what? Against the ground or against the person? You have the possibility of utilizing, but it's not guaranteed. That's the point why I'm saying like you're always gonna have like different unfair advantages. The person you're fighting can just be way faster than you, just negating the possibility of you hitting him. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just not guaranteed. So I'm not saying you can always use your lifting strength. That's something stupid,
Bro, like,
non-intuitive,
be
and
so
you're not
for real.
understanding the point because you're
Real
not
life
attacking my point. You're not attacking anything.
Oh my
This
god,
is
if
so
I'm using a
annoying.
real life like fighting example, then that's not going to be like a situation where like in most cases you're going to get speed blitzed or outpaced. So can you like
Well, okay,
please
it doesn't matter. We
try
can
to
talk about a fictional. We can talk about a fictional scenario too.
Okay,
if you
bro,
want
like-
to. I don't care.
you're just going to rat and like not let me go with
It's
the
not
analogy.
right. I'm saying we can. No,
I'll
you
just
said.
repeat myself one more time.
Okay,
What
go
I'm
ahead.
trying to say are things that like you can inherently always use in a fight versus something that you can't always use. Like for example, BlackBeard's like Yami fruit is something that like a certain ability that it has only works against Devil Fruit users. I don't know how it's been 40 minutes straight and you haven't fucking tracked the distinction.
You don't think BlackBeard can use his Devil Fruit ability against anybody?
No, wait. So those certain properties of the Devil Fruit users, it's like you can't go 3 seconds without strawmanning me. The properties of negating Devil Fruit.
I asked you a question.
Not gonna
How's
be
that
able to
straw
use
man?
against- Wait. So Zkiller, let me ask you something. Do you not agree that he can't like use his negation ability against non-Devil Fruit users? What does he have to negate there if they don't have Devil Fruits? Like, are you stupid, bro?
His
Like,
Devil Fruit
genuinely.
ability isn't just negating people. Certain abilities are going to lack certain effectiveness against certain fighters. That's not the point.
I didn't say that. I said the property of that ability. Oh my god.
Yeah, certain abilities are going to lack certain effectiveness against certain fighters. Like I can say Ace's fire ability doesn't fucking work against Sanji because he can endure hotter flames than Ace has anything capable of outputting. Therefore, Ace can't burn Sanji. Does that mean that Ace can't use his Devil Fruit ability against Sanji? No, he can still use it. It's just not going to be effective. That's a dumb point. That's my entire point. You can use your lifting strength against somebody that's a blitz tier faster than you. You can try to use that. It's not going to be effective. So you saying BlackBeard can't use his ability against people that are fucking that don't have Devil Fruits? No, he can. It's just not going to be effective.
Bro, dude, in the whole Sanji situation are you using, is there any property of Sanji's abilities that aren't being utilized at all in that situation?
Sanji's abilities are Ace's abilities, because that was the analogy. I said Ace trying to burn Sanji.
Yes, I'm talking about in the analogy you're giving, bro. Like,
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying Sanji's abilities are Ace's abilities.
yeah, Sanji's, man. That's what I'm asking you.
But the relevant person would be Ace, because I'm saying Ace's lack of ability to burn Sanji would mean that his Devil Fruit can still be used, it just won't be effective.
Okay, well, there's a clear distinction there. So yes, like Ace, he's still using he's still using like all the properties of his Devil Fruit, but there's like a certain property of Blackbeard's Devil Fruit which is not being utilized at all.
What do you mean
Like, I
using
don't
a
see how
term?
that's hard to
He's
understand, bro.
using it, it's just
40
not
minutes,
working. I don't know, you're just dumb. Okay, Ace has a property of his Devil Fruit, right? The fact that it's fire. I can also like break the properties into subsets and then say these don't apply, therefore like it's like X. Like it's just a very dumb point. So I'm going to do the same thing that you're doing and show how it's stupid. Ace has a property of his Devil Fruit. It's the ability to burn people. He's not going to be able to use that against Sanji. Therefore, it's impossible for him to burn people. You see how like that's just stupid, right? Because he can still try to burn Sanji. It's just not going to be effective. It's just not going to work. That's not me saying, oh, this is something he's not going to be able to do against anybody. No, he can still do it against everybody he fights. It's just going to lack effectiveness against certain people. So the same way BlackBeard can still use his Devil Fruit negating abilities against everybody he fights, it's just not going to work against certain people because certain people aren't relying on Devil Fruit abilities or certain people don't have Devil Fruit abilities. The same way Ace can try to burn everybody he fights, but it's not always going to work because certain people like Sanji are just built different. And I'm done talking about this because if you don't understand at this point, I've been trying to explain this very simple concept to you for the past 30 minutes. If you don't understand, you're not going to understand. So you either understand or you don't understand.
Wait, can I just like address the whole like fire property thing that you were trying to say? That
Yes, please.
You can't burn him or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So in this situation, what I mean by like property is that like, yeah, even if it is the case that Ace can't burn Sanji, he can still at least use his fire ability and like attempt to burn him. But in the situation with Blackbeard, like he literally like can't even like at all like use his negation ability or like even attempt to use it. Now here's the thing, like when he's using a fire ability, even if he's not burning him, he can still use this to benefit him in some way. Like he can use his fire ability to like to accelerate himself, make himself faster and hit harder.
Okay,
So that's still going to give him like existential combat benefits like regardless. And I basically gave like another distinction here. So I don't see the issue, man. Like you went on a long ass ramble like for no like fucking reason, bro. Like it's actually
okay, I don't know why I use the word existential. I'm going to repeat my point because you just seem to not understand it. I just
Dude,
have
you
to
want
use
to
it. No. I'm going to respond to it in a different way, so it's not going to be redundant. Okay, so my point is that you're breaking his ability down to a subset and then saying this subset facet of his ability doesn't work. And then you're labeling that as the ability and saying because that doesn't work, it's different than Ace. No, I'm doing the same thing. The same way Blackbeard has the ability to gravitate people towards him, right? That's also an ability he has. That gravitational ability is also a part of his ability that also allows him to negate Devil Fruits, right? But I'm not going to focus on that gravitational ability. I'm going to focus on a subset of his ability, which is the ability to negate Devil Fruits, and I'm going to label that as his overall ability. But for Ace, we're not going to label his ability to burn people as an actual ability. We're going to focus on the overall capability of his abilities, like his overall thing, like his propulsion and all that. But we're not going to focus on Blackbeard's ability to gravitate people towards him because that doesn't suit our agenda. You see how that's fucking retarded? So yes, Ace doesn't have the ability to burn Sanji. That's an ability. We can label it as an ability. In reality, it's the subset quality of his overall ability, but we can just label it as an ability to try to make it seem like we're being coherent. Yes, Ace doesn't have the ability to burn Sanji. Does that mean Ace can't use his Devil Fruit? No. The same way Blackbeard doesn't have the ability to negate Garb's Devil Fruit because Garb doesn't have a Devil Fruit. Does that mean he can't use his gravitation? No. So yes, in every single ability, you're going to have subsets and certain properties of that ability that are less effective against certain people are in some cases just not effective at all. That doesn't mean that he can't use it. He can still use it. It's just not going to be effective. And it's a retarded distinction because it's the same thing with Ace. It's the same thing with Luffy. It's the same thing with anybody who has a fucking ability in One Piece. You understand?
Wait, you realize when he does use the whole like propulsion thing, he uses his burning ability at the same time as he uses his propulsion. So this would be a part of his burning ability.
His burning ability. What? Oh, wallahi, I'm finished. What?
Yes,
Okay.
he uses his fire to fucking burn, right?
Yeah, but that's my problem. You're conflating certain things, right? So fire has the ability, right, Fire is an energy source. You agree with that?
Yeah, I
Fire,
agree.
fire is
Fire
an
is
energy
very
source.
good.
Fire can be used for propulsion. Fire can be used for burning thing, and then the steam can be used for like as fuel and as like a ways of perpetual motion. The point is that, right? Fire is not the inherent quality of burning. Burning is a property of fire. Burning is a subset of fire. Burning is not fire. Ace is not burning the air when he's propelling himself. That's not a thing. He's just propelling himself with fire. It's not burning. You can't complete the two. It doesn't work. Hey man, look, bro. Can we just move on? Can we please move
I
on?
get
All right, wait. So for
Zkiller.
progression's sake, I'll say that you can use like Blackbeard's ability. I guess yeah, that's fine. We can move on.
Thank you. Okay,
Niggas was
we-
arguing
bro.
this
We're
entire
debating
time,
this
bro.
for an hour. I don't want to do this
It was
debate
so
no more.
fucking
This debate is so ass.
So fucking obvious, bro. This what, bro. I'm glad I'm removed from fucking One Piece, bro. Cause like niggas be arguing over the most obvious shit.
I'm surprised it
Like
wasn't
what the
an hour.
fuck?
It was
It's
only
such a
35
waste of
minutes.
fucking time. Wait, 35 minutes wasted when niggas could have actually
I
went into
don't.
the meat
This
and
is why I
potatoes.
hate the debate community because like every single thing, and this is the thing, right? Because I'm engaging in like actual conversation. Every single thing people feel like they need to disagree with. No, you don't have to disagree with everything. Certain things don't actually hurt you. You can acknowledge or concede certain things without it actually hurting you, without you seeing feeling like you're losing. You don't have to lose to concede certain things.
I
I don't
agree.
understand.
Prove me on
Why is
Spartan.
why is the debating community like this? It's so fucking weird. It's already like
It's
fucking
not
12
even
a.m.
not,
though. Holy shit.
Mostly One
it's
Piece
not even the
niggas,
big
but yeah.
community. It's the One Piece community. I step in different other comms. People are willing to concede the most obvious shit
Wait,
because it
Venom, are
doesn't
you
harm their
recording?
position.
Okay, go ahead.
It's
Do you
been
want to talk about
recorded.
Ace versus BlackBeard? Because I feel like if you take his ability in consideration, it's not really much of a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we can talk about Ace versus Blackbeard. All right.
Okay, and you're
you wanna
taking his
go first,
ability
bro?
of the darkness and the Gura, or you're just taking the darkness? Like, do you have like weird stipulations, or is it just like Blackbeard versus Ace? You're actually gonna do it?
Wait, I'm fine with either.
Y'all debating
Yeah,
again?
I would
Holy
prefer the
shit.
overall thing because that's the thing he beat Ace with.
Okay, yeah, so I'm fine with like him having his black. Like I'm fine with considering the Yami fruit here. It's
Okay, do you think Blackbeard had some sort of like weird substantive Oh my god, I can't speak. I'm brain fucked. Do you think Blackbeard has some weird substantive advantage against Ace in his fight that doesn't relate to his inherent qualities, like his Delphi ability?
yeah, I do. Okay, so basically,
Go ahead.
yeah, the reason why I think that he has this advantage is because like Ace isn't used to this ability. This is like a unique ability that he's never seen before. So it's gonna be hard to adapt to.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so do you have any problems with that?
I mean, not necessarily, but I'm just saying, like, what else would he do to adapt to it? I don't understand what amount of experience is going to stop him from being gravitationally pulled towards Black. Like, I could say the same thing. I could say, oh, Blackbeard wasn't familiar with the fact Ace had an ability, the Fireflies, which turns his fireballs into small green balls that explode on impact. So that's going to be hard to adapt to. But like, I don't see how that's not going to happen in a regular fight. It's always going to happen if they fight. So it's not a relevant thing to bring up. If he's always going to have a hard time to adapt to that in a fight, then that's not a point for why Ace would beat Blackbeard.
Wait, so you're arguing that this adaptability would apply to like every fight, right?
I'm saying like I'm not necessarily asserting that, but I'm just saying I don't see how it wouldn't. Can you explain how it wouldn't if they fought again?
Okay, wait, here's the thing, because like when Ace first gets pulled, like he might not, like when Ace was first getting pulled, he didn't know that him getting touched would negate his powers. If he knows this, he's going to be more precautious. And when he's more precautious, he's probably going to be more willing to use more of his flame arsenal when he's getting pulled. And with the whole like Firefly thing, basically you're trying to say that.
What flame arsenal?
yeah.
Can you just clarify that? Are you saying like he's going to use like a different attack because he already used an attack? Blackbeard being pulled?
Yeah, what I'm saying is he's going to use more of his fire moves. And then
Like,
basically,
what do you mean by
you're trying
more?
to
Because
reference
that, like, that presupposes he can do more abilities.
Dude, can I like
he had enough
respond to
time.
the other thing you said? Because you're going to make
Okay,
multiple
I'm sorry.
points
Go
and
ahead.
they're
I'm
not-
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and then basically like with the whole Firefly thing, like you're saying, oh, it might be hard for like him to adapt to the Fireflies, like turning into fire or whatever. But I think that like it's definitely the case that like Blackbeard would have more of an advantage because at least like Blackbeard somewhat knows about his abilities. Well, Ace like really doesn't have like any knowledge about Blackbeard's abilities. So even if it is like a advantage for both parties, that doesn't necessarily mean that like it's an equal advantage. Or that
I mean,
that would
I
justify
agree that
Blackbeard
it's
being
not
over
necessarily
the fight.
equal. However, I don't think you've proven that it's necessarily disproportionate. For example, in the analogy you gave, you
I've
said
given an
Blackbeard has.
argument. What's the issue with
Yeah,
it
I
then?
know, I know. I'm just saying I'm addressing it. So, for example, right in the example you gave, you said Blackbeard knows about Ace's abilities. I agree, but I don't think he knew about the Firefly ability. I don't even think he knew that was something that was coming to work. So you see how if he knew about that, it would have been something he could have easily dealt with his darkness, but he didn't know about it, so he wasn't able to deal with it at all. He just took the attack for free.
Wait, no,
So
here's
that's
the
wait,
thing
wait,
though.
wait. So that's something like that's a quality. While you can say Blackbeard has some experience with Ace, how Ace utilizes his ability can actually make it disproportionately advantageous towards him because Blackbeard's just not familiar with these certain utilizations of his ability. You can say this might grant him an overall advantage in the sense that he knows Ace's overall ability, but you can't say this in certain subsets or certain abilities in the utilization because that would still be an advantage that Ace has. And it's the same for Blackbeard, right? So, for example, Blackbeard negates Ace's Delphi. I agree, but my point is that I don't see how Ace wouldn't get caught by this in another fight. So you can say this is something Blackbeard has an advantage, but this isn't really an advantage that is, for example, an outlier. This would be an advantage he has inherently going into any fight.
Okay,
Like
wait. I
this,
feel
this
like
would
I
just be
already
a
addressed
reason
the
for why
whole
Blackbeard would
Firefly
beat
thing.
Ace. Sorry, go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah,
I didn't.
the
I
whole
thought you were.
Firefly thing. Yeah, sure, it might be a distinct and like unique ability, but still, like if he knows the properties of his roots, he has a general idea. Oh, this is going to be some type of fire ability. Even if I don't know which fire ability it is, I know that it is going to be a fire ability. And for the second thing you said, okay, well, you don't know how this advantage would change in a different fight. Yeah, like I literally explained that. I explained how, like, basically, if Ace is getting pulled in and that he knows that if he gets touched, his Delph Fruit abilities are going to turn on, he's obviously going to prioritize his Delph Fruit abilities. His Delph Fruit abilities are something that he inherently values. Therefore, he's going to be he's going to be like more willing to use more of his arsenal, like more of his Delph Fruit abilities, for example, or possibly like more of his hockey abilities that were under like utilized in pre-time skip just due to like dating and things like that.
Okay, so two things, right? So let me try to remember your first point. Your first point was the Fireflies thing. Okay, so while I do agree Blackbeard has a general understanding of Ace's abilities, you haven't actually explained why this is something that actually benefits. So I can have a general understanding about the fact that Moria has the ability to control darkness. Does this mean I understand that I shouldn't step in his shadow because he's gonna subjugate my soul? No. So while I do agree, like you can say he has like a general advantage in the fact he knows Ace has fire abilities. The point is the specific ability of Fireflies is something Blackbeard's just not equipped to deal with because he doesn't have the info. And my entire point is, yes, I do agree. The information advantage is a substantial thing for Blackbeard. But how do you propose Ace is going to know that Blackbeard has a certain quality without getting caught to begin with? So my entire point is that yes, this might be an advantage Blackbeard has, but this is going to be an advantage he has going into every single fight with Ace. Because Ace is never going to know that Blackbeard has the ability to negate Devil Fruits unless he gets his Devil Fruit negated. Which would just result in the same thing that happened in the story. Blackbeard cracking his fucking neck and breaking his spine.
Wait. One thing, was this being recorded? What the fuck?
I don't know.
Wait,
But can you
Venom.
just ignore about that? Just can you answer the question? Hey, whoever's in the VC, please start a recording. Can you answer my
No,
question?
I've been recording. You're good.
Okay,
Oh,
nice.
okay, that's good. Never mind. Wait, can you just repeat yourself? Because I was like focused on if it was
You want me to
recorded.
repeat the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so my first point was like, yeah, Blackbeard can have, for example, he can have the ability or understanding of Ace's ability, which is fire. I don't think this is really meaningful. So yes, you can have an understanding of someone's ability that might give you the advantage or the ability to deal with like certain things that person does, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna have like an advantage in dealing with everything because there's certain things that are so far off or so unique within the ability that you might just not be equipped to deal with it at all, even if you have predisposed information for the general idea of the ability. Because the utilization is so unique, I don't see how this information would help him. That's my point. And then the second point is that Blackbeard having this informational advantage of the fact that he can negate Ace's Delphi, Ace doesn't know that, is a unique quality that's going to exist in every single fight Blackbeard has in Ace. I don't see why it wouldn't. Because Ace, in order to find out that Blackbeard has this ability that can negate Delph Fruits, he has to get pulled or he has to get his Delph Fruit negated. In order to get his level from negated, Blackbeard's going to pull him in. Blackbeard pulls him in, and then Ace tries to attack him whatever the fuck. Then it will be a matter of whether or not Ace actually has the AP to stop whatever is oncoming. And if he had trouble doing this to Blackbeard, who had 1 Devil Fruit, I don't see how he's gonna have any like success in doing this to Blackbeard, who has 2 Devil Fruits. Because Blackbeard 2 Devil Fruits can not only fucking pull you in, but then when you're in and you have no defenses, you have no Devil Fruit, he's gonna smash your fucking skull in with his Gura Fruit. But that entire thing is like a second tangent. Can you just like address the substance?
Yeah, okay. So basically, like you're saying that him having a general idea wouldn't give him an advantage because it is the case that there could be like a unique factor in this ability that's going to make it so distinct that like you won't be able to tell like what it is. Okay, so like in this case, that's not the case because it's literally just like a fucking like it's Firefly and then like fire and burning, dude. Like that's like not really special. And also for another thing, is you have a general idea of somebody's like abilities that can just allow you to like make a probable inference that it's going to be something like similar to their abilities, and that inference is just going to be like more likely, so it's going to be more cases that like they wouldn't have an advantage against you. Okay, and then for the whole second thing that you said, wait, hold up. Yeah, my bad. Wait, what was the second thing you said? You said something else.
Blackbeard having the advantage going into.
Oh yeah, because you're saying that he would have to fight Ace to know about his negation abilities, correct? Okay, I don't see
Ace
why
have
that's the case. Like, how are you gonna prove that? Like, are you telling me that it can't be the case that like he just hears about Blackbeard using his negation abilities on somebody else? Or no, he can't just take the experience from like this first fight, like hypothetically in a redo, and then like know
Okay,
about
but
the whole negation abilities, and then
Isaac,
have
if you
an
want to,
adequate reason and way to counter it. Like, what's the issue with that? Bro?
Isaac, if you want to like go back and like add stipulations to the debate, it's fine. I asked you like in the beginning of the debate, like I don't think you were listening, which is fine. I'm fine with you not listening. I'm not attacking you here. Don't get defensive. I said at the beginning of the debate, do you want to add certain stipulations like Ace having information on Blackbeard's Devil Fruit? So that's something that
Yeah,
was
I'm fine
clearly
with
not
adding that. Then that's fine.
wait, that's something that's clearly not presupposed. So you saying like him not having this like information is like certain. So you saying that he's gonna have like everything, he's gonna know about how Blackbeard's Devil Fruit works, he's never gonna get caught, is part of the reason for why I think Blackbeard wins. So you saying that you're just gonna take that away is like, okay, then we just gonna either like not do this debate or continue the debate like we agreed to do it.
Okay,
we can just not do this
stipulation.
debate, but I'm saying like if we're continuing like we agreed to do it, because I did ask you if you want to do this specific thing. You said no, or you didn't say no. Actually, I do think you said no. You just wanted to do like normal. And I asked you, just want to do normal, like no other extra stipulations, like Ace knowing what Blackbeard's Devil Fruit ability does, and you said no. So since Ace didn't know this in the story, and Ace is dead in the canon story, I don't think it's probable that Ace is going to know it in a hypothetical rematch. Unless you're presupposing or stipulating that the rematch is going. Wait. Unless you're stipulating that the rematch is gonna happen in like some sort of fucking sub dimension where they both get to watch One Piece, I don't think it's gonna. We can do that,
Wait,
but
so are
we're
you
just gonna have
saying
to
that?
stop debating at that point, because that was like part of the reason for why I think Blackbeard is.
Wait,
But
part
I
of the
guess
reason for
I
why you
guess we
think
can continue
Blackbeard wins
debating. I don't know,
is
like
Ace?
it's just gonna get weird because we're just gonna be able we're just gonna stalemate because we just don't know how the fight will play off. But we can continue. Cool. We can just continue. Like let's just presuppose like Ace knows it. Cool. Like Blackbeard knows everything about Ace, so he's not getting caught by the Firefly ability. Ace knows everything about Blackbeard, so he's not going to get caught. I don't think that means he's not going to get caught necessarily, but let's say he has a better idea of it. Cool. Unless you're going to say that Ace isn't going to get close to combat Beard, how is he going to combat him without getting pulled in?
Wait, even if he does get like pulled in, like the reasoning for why I think that Ace would win is that he can just like blatantly like blitz him, and this is shown like multiple times.
I think when Blackbeard's pulling people in, he's like stationary. At least it's been shown to be the case. Maybe it isn't, but I don't think that him being tagged while pulling people in proves that he's like a blitz tier slower than Ace. But if you're just saying like in other instances we can observe this, I would like to see the instances because certain times Blackbeard just lets get down his guard. So you'd have to prove that Ace is actually a blitz tier above Blackbeard.
Wait, so you're saying that like in certain cases, like he lets his guard, but wait, do you not think that it would be more
Like the
assumptions to
Fireflies, for
say that-
example.
Okay, I think that it would take more assumptions to say that him letting down his guard would contextualize to like him being like completely defenseless and him being like a blitz tier below like his normal self. Like I don't see why.
I
Like,
mean,
dude-
I don't think that him being like, for example, letting down his guard means that he magically becomes a blitz tier lower. He's not a blitz tier lower. That's not the point of being off guard. Being off guard means that you're not going to be equipped to deal with whatever is in front of you due to the fact it takes your brain time to actually like correspond and like integrate the information into whatever database you already have. So BlackBeard's going to have more time to integrate whatever information Ace has, which means that it might not actually be a blitz. It might just be Ace catching BlackBeard off guard, which is my entire
Wait, I'm assuming you're using the recklessness to say that he would be like off guard in some instances, right? Okay, so why does his recklessness correlate to him like getting caught off guard in combat situations?
Well,
And let me
okay,
just get
I'm not
this
going to say
in.
something as stupid as BlackBeard is reckless, therefore he's going to get caught off guard in combat situations. That's a general claim that doesn't have any merit. I'm saying depending on whatever situation the context of whatever scan you're going to bring up, he might be off guard or he might let his guard. Since we know this is a characteristic he has. This doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm just saying depending on the scan you use in the context, it might be the case that this was
Okay,
the
wait,
thing
so
that
where's
happened.
that characteristic like is that characteristic ever shown like in combat situations where he's taking the fight seriously? Because we have credence to say
I
that
don't
he's taking it serious.
if you think that like for
Yeah, I can
example,
show
this is
that,
only
dude.
wait. If you think that BlackBeard like doesn't take every opportunity he does to get stronger seriously, that's completely fine. That would just mean that we don't know how he operates in a serious battle, which means he can be it's like an equal possibility, or maybe not necessarily equal because that's like an assertion, but it is a possibility that he can be serious or that he can't be serious at the same time. So either way, it still fulfills my point. In
Okay,
any
so
stand you can bring
basically
up,
what you're
it's a
trying to say
possibility that
is
BlackBeard can simply be off.
you're trying to say that it would still be like an equal interpretation, right?
I'm not saying it's equal. That's an assertion. All I'm saying is that it's still going to be a possibility. So you would have to address the possibility or make your possibility more.
Yeah, okay, let me just get the scans though. Hold up.
All right, go ahead. What scanner you're looking for? Because I don't have a lot.
Wait, I got it. Hold up. It's like at the beginning of this chapter. I'm chapter 440. All right, wait, let me just send the scans and I'll explain like what I mean by each scans. So for the first thing, like the
One by
possibility
one.
point-
I just like one by one.
Okay, yeah, but I'll just go over the like possibility point first. That's fine. Okay, so what I'm gonna use to negate this possibility and make it like less likely, make mine more likely, is yeah, we have credence to say that he's serious in this situation. The reason why we have credence to say that he'd probably be serious is because he tells the lower tier fighters to stay out of fighting Ace. He doesn't want them to fight Ace, and that also shows that he's precautious in serious like situations too. So if he's precautious, it's just going to be more likely that he's going to defend himself, like in a combative situation that he's serious about.
Okay, so let's just like try to like not response. So yes, precaution is a relative thing. So you can be precaution in certain things, but you being precautious in certain ways doesn't mean that you're cautious in an overall way. So BlackBeard is precautious in the sense that he doesn't want his crewmates to get hurt. He's wary of Ace's ability to hurt his crewmates, which means that he's going to turn his back. He's going to turn his back mid-battle to talk to people that aren't involved in the battle. You see how that can leave him open to an attack? However, he's still technically being precautious in that situation. So him being precautious doesn't actually matter. It doesn't actually prove your point. So yes, Blackbeard can be precautious in a general sense, like he wants his crewmates to be safe, but this also leaves him open for an attack because he literally turns his back to Ace. So we can't say this is a blitz. Blackbeard wasn't even looking in his general direction.
Wait, so why does he have to look to be on guard? Like, you are aware of observation hockey, right? And he shows precaution in the sense of like precaution for himself by like literally dodging the attack, bro.
Okay, there can be a general level of precaution, right? So me saying, for example, me looking at you during a battle and not just looking at a butterfly, that's me being precautious. But that's not a really like big feat, right? That proves that I can't be caught off
Wait, but
guard.
in a
Right?
One Piece
Wait. Just
oh
don't cut me off because I'm gonna address the observation. But you saying that like, oh, he's dodging this, therefore he's precautious, isn't actually like doesn't have any substance. I can say, oh, I'm looking at you, therefore I'm precautious. Certain levels of precaution aren't gonna negate your ability to be cut off. You would have to say his precaution is so high that he's going to like run multiple sets of like uh reasoning and like certain like things like possibilities in his head for where Ace could be or when Ace is going to attack that would negate him being getting caught off guard, which I don't think you have enough like evidence or data about Blackbeard in his mind to. And then as for like the observation hockey thing, it would just be as simple as you'd have to prove it's like in character for Blackbeard to use observation hockey or anybody in One Piece to use observation hockey like at that point. Because I only think people in One Piece use observation hockey in certain points. I don't think they use it overall throughout the entire battle because we do know it's like on a limited supply. And also certain people just don't do it because they're not inclined to do so. Like they're just not skillful at doing it. Or they just don't feel like doing it. I mean, it's just like people in One Piece don't always use observation hockey. You'd have to like prove on case by case scenario. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, hold up. I was trying to get another scan. It's my fault. Like, looking.
You're good. What scan do you want? I can probably find it.
It's on like 441. I'm on the chapter right now, but just hold up. It's like wait, no. The scan that I'm trying to look for is like do you know like Boa on like fucking no, like when Blackbeard encounters Boa?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, so I'm trying to use this to draw like another instance of like Blackbeard like generally like being very precautious for himself in combat because he didn't want to like take the chance of possibly getting like fucking turned to stone by Boa. So that shows that in combat situations, like we have multiple instances and we have multiple like consequences of like the conclusion that I'm drawing, which that's just gonna make like my like interpretation more likely via like Bayes' theorem. And can you like repeat the second thing you said because I was looking for a scan, or I don't know if it was the first thing. You said something else.
I don't know what I might have not been. I don't remember what else you want.
Wait, you don't remember the other thing you said? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I could try to remember it. Just give me a second.
Okay, bro.
So I said precaution. I gave the example of like person technically being precautious but not really, and it doesn't mean they're not being caught off guard or can't be caught off guard. Yeah, so I think that's all it is. I think you responded to everything, not adequately, but you still responded. So I'm gonna respond to what you just said. So like, yeah, the bow
Okay, bro.
situation is an example of Blackbeard technically being precautious, but my overall point was kind of like there's different levels of precaution and different contexts where being precautious doesn't really matter. So there's a general sense of precaution where if I look at you, I'm technically being precautious because I'm keeping you in my line of sight. But that's not really a high level of precaution that would necessitate you can't get caught off guard or at least make it likely. It's not a likelihood increaser to the conclusion you're actually trying to make because the claim is actually more substantial than the level of precaution he's actually applying in that instance. So him not letting go of Boa because Boa has an instant one-shot technique at a close range ability, it isn't really a very precautious thing. That's just him not wanting to fucking die, right? I don't think that's crazy. But like you might think it's crazy, but you would have to prove that this has any relevance to him getting caught off guard by Ace. As I said, his back was turned, and you haven't proven that he was using observation hockey yet. So I don't know why this is a blitz. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. So where did you even ask me to prove he was using observation hockey, bro? What? Fuck.
You're the one who said I did ask you, but maybe that was the thing that you asked me to. Probably didn't. But basically, I said it's not necessarily in character for One Piece people to use observation hockey in a battle scenario because certain people have certain what is it called, affinities for hockey, right? Certain people have a higher natural ability to use certain types of hockey. Therefore, it can be more implicative that Blackbeard has a higher ability for arm hockey than observation hockey. It's not necessarily true, but I'm just bringing that up as an example. So it's not necessarily like intuitive to say Blackbeard is going to be using observation hockey in this battle because he has it. Well, that's not necessarily true. We know it's on a limited supply. Certain people aren't that good in it. It does take a level of focus that Blackbeard might just not have, and like there's multiple things that could stipulate that Blackbeard uh, wouldn't use it in this instance. So you would have to prove via some sort of actual, consistency in Blackbeard's character for him using observation hockey. This isn't something you can just universally apply to One Piece
Wait,
character.
can we go by that like one by one?
What do you mean? Like my whole point?
Yeah. Wait, no, like I'm
it
not
can be.
asking
I mean,
you to repeat yourself. Like I
it can
remember
be
it.
so yeah. It can be subbed down to basically like you would have to prove Blackbeard would use observation hockey, not just that he has the ability, because not everybody in One Piece uses this ability since it's on limited supply, and certain people just aren't because of the level it takes.
Yeah, so Blackbeard has observation and the precaution levels. What I'm saying is I'll attack those like one by one.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll take one.
Okay, wait. So the reason why I think that it'd be a high precaution level in this context, yeah, she does have like a fucking one-shot ability, but like it's in the case where like she's surrounded by like other men, like she's surrounded by like targets that are trying to attack her, which is gonna like increasingly like increase the likelihood of her getting like tagged, which is gonna make it less of a risk for Blackbeard getting hit in that situation.
You want me to respond to that?
Yeah, you can respond to that. It's fine.
I don't know if the random fodder Marines surrounding Boa even would play any substantial like things that Blackbeard has taken into account. It might be like 1% of his decision, but then again, you're not actually explaining why this is an intelligent thing for Blackbeard to do. Yes, it can be the case that Blackbeard letting go of Boa won't necessarily result in him instantly, but that's not necessarily true. It can be the case, but it's not necessarily true because I don't think that these people are strong enough to actually make a significant impact on whether or not Boa can or cannot kill Blackbeard. So it would be like something that you're claiming that they're strong or fast enough, or they have their bullets travel fast enough, or have enough AP to bother Boa at all. And you're also kind of claiming, even if that were true, it would be a substantial enough intelligence thing to say in this instance, where it's like a completely different context and it's a completely different scenario, Blackbeard would have the precaution necessary in order to do this, which again, I don't think you can prove. It's very arbitrary and subjective. I don't think this is a claim you can really make. Unless it's like outright
Okay,
saying,
wait.
fuck.
Here's the thing. Like Blackbeard. Wait, no. Boa is like blatantly shown going relative with a vice admiral and that smoker. So that would give credence to say that like if we have a lot of Marines in this situation, there probably are some vice admirals. So if there's multiple people that like can be relative to Boa, it's more likely to be the case that all of them together are over Boa.
Okay, so there's a lot of claims there, right? So one, you're saying like Smoker somehow holds relativity to other vice admirals. You're also saying Smoker holds relativity to Bo. While I do agree they fought relative, this doesn't prove that they are relative, at least to Bo's full strength, unless you can prove Bo was using her full strength. And then but don't address that. Address that last because that's like the least of my grievances. And then like the assumption that there's vice admirals in that panel, I don't see any vice admirals. We know that the vice admiral that pulled up got solidified by Boa's thing. So I don't really see any vice admiral, especially like multiple, because you didn't just say one. You said like they can like gank up on her. I don't even see one, let alone multiple. So I don't know what point you're making. So I'm just gonna recap because I was like a little yeah. So basically, you claim that the vice admirals are like relative. You have to that they don't have to skill the smoker. You claim that there's multiple vice admirals. I don't see any. You'd have to prove that, and you would also have to prove that Bo was going all out, or at least trying to any relevant degree against Smoker.
Yeah, okay, I got that. Wait, so I never actually claimed the vice admirals were relative. What I'm claiming is, yeah, if they could be relative to him, then like it's just gonna be more likely if there's multiple people that like possibly are relative to you, that all of them together are going to be over Boa. I'm not saying that they definitively are relative to Smoker. And then the other thing you said is prove that like that she's going all out against Smoker or whatever. Okay, well we know she's blatantly fighting for Luffy, somebody that she loves, like literally. And then you said another thing about vice admirals, right? Let me see those. Like,
Yeah, I said like I don't really see any vice admirals there.
yeah, you don't see vice admirals there. And you
Yeah,
said
no,
like
like
something
in the
else.
panel, like maybe they were there when they were pulling up, but I mentioned that like one of them just outright was shown to get no diff by Boa, so we don't know if they're even there to fight her. They might have all been killed. We don't really know. That's my point. And like, do you want me to respond to the other thing you said? Or do you want to like get
Okay,
a
wait, let me just check the chapter, like, because you're saying we don't see them, or like
Yeah.
we don't know, whatever.
I think it's chapter 1060 something.
Okay, yeah, let
1065.
me know on that, bro.
Let me see. Oh no, 1060s is way less. This is
1060 what?
no, that's way past. I think it's 1050s. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see. Uh, holy shit, these chapters are yeah. Let me just search it. 1059.
Okay, bro.
That's when they fight Boa and BlackBeard.
Please tell me y'all done.
No, bro.
Oh my
And we're
god.
not really done. We're just we're probably gonna finish soon, or at least we're gonna postpone or just end.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm not
Give
gonna.
me a chapter. Hold up.
Everybody in this VC gets less bitches than me.
Really? Why?
All right, yeah. Like, can you prove that, bro? Like, literally.
Give me a reason.
Well, why I get debate goons?
Nigga, what do you have that I don't, nigga?
You know, how many bitches do you get by debate gooning? Fuck, nigga.
Nigga, I don't get
I'm
bitches by
not
the
even.
big. Nigga, I get bitches with the motion. Fuck you.
You said you get bitches with motion. How's that nigga with no motion that's named Motion in the VC saying he gets more hoes than you, though? Because Motion said he gets more hoes than you before.
Nigga, how much motion you got? The fuck? That just means you're the worst of all of us.
And listen, we can all go band for band in the VC. Go say Big Bang, say Little Bang.
Nigga, you can't even show a band.
Well,
Wait, the
Lockie,
people with the capes are the vice admirals, right? On
What?
panel, we see somebody with the cape, bro.
Nigga, what are you talking about?
Wait,
Are you talking
I'm
about Kobe?
Wait, let me check. Is that Kobe? Yeah, never mind. That's Kobe. My bad.
Yeah, Kobe's the captain. That's not the vice admiral cape. You're probably getting confused. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's not a
the
vice
problem is
admiral. My bad.
even if we presuppose there's like some vice admirals in the background, the problem is that what was I saying?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
well,
the
what's the
problem
problem?
is you kind of made your argument from like a positive assertion of likelihood to like possible claim of like equal interpretation. So you kind of went from saying it's likely that these vice admirals are going to scale to Smoker, therefore they like pose some threat to Boa, since that's like the entire point, to going to say like, oh, it's just like possible that this is the case, and if it were the case, then it would be likely. But like obviously, I can say like, it's possible that X thing that stipulates that my argument is true is possible. Therefore, it would make my argument more likely. But it would be a matter of proving that possibility as likely rather than simply highlighting that it's possible. So you can move on, but I don't think your point would be likely at all because you just broke it down to it being possible.
Okay, so like basically, you're saying by me giving the possibilities, I'm not actually like making it more likely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
kind of like
basically what you're trying to say.
try to you took the burden off of yourself, which would mean that you're not really attempting to prove it's more like.
Yeah, okay, so I can just give another argument for why they likely scale to Smoker anyway.
Smoker.
Yeah.
Okay, before you do that, I want to address your Luffy thing. So while I do agree Boa's in love with Luffy, there's like certain lines we see that she's just not willing to cross. For example, she's not willing to just take Luffy openly to Impel Down. She has to sneak her. She has to sneak him in there. And then even then, she like has to keep up appearances. So if she were just like madly in love, that she would do whatever Luffy wants and she would do whatever like she can. She would literally just take Luffy on her boat to Impel Down and force him in there. But obviously, like she doesn't want to do that because she still has appearances to uphold with the Marines. It's the reason for why she pulls up to Marineford to begin with, even though like Luffy's brother is going to be executed, and we see that she's attacking pirates, which would still show that she has some sort of affiliation to because she's attacking pirates. She wouldn't do so otherwise. So I do agree Boa's in love with Luffy. I don't know if this means that she's like gonna break all ties with the Marines and kill a vice admiral. That's kind of like extreme. She doesn't really need to do that in order to help Luffy. She can just keep the vice admiral at bay, and that would help Luffy already. I don't think she's even there to take any substantial part in helping Luffy free Ace. She just kind of stood in the background and didn't interfere.
Wait, but here's the thing. Like, there's a distinction between these two situations you're giving, and the distinction is like a greater like emotional weight is in this situation, and the emotional weight is that Smoker directly attacked and beat up Luffy. And we see that she's visibly like mad about that. So she's more emotion prone. Like she's more like it's more likely for her to act rash.
I mean, I guess you can say like emotional woman go bear, but like I don't know if like she's emotional to the point where she just drops all rationality. It might be true, I just don't know. But that's like the lesser of my point, right? Because this entire point is like kind of messy. You can agree, right? Like you're
Okay,
presupposing
wait.
so many things you can't
Yeah,
prove.
this
You're
point is
presupposing
messy
there's
as hell.
we can just move on. Let's move on to another point. Or we can just like stop this debate because this debate's kind of boring. I think you'd agree. Like I don't even want to do this anymore.
Wait, so do you want to just like end it or postpone it? Like what?
Yeah, we can just end it. Like I don't think I want to do this tomorrow. I want to do this ever.
Okay, wait, so like but I still have things to say though. That's a problem.
I mean, like, I guess you can say it.
Wait.
You can
Wait,
say
so
it.
like
I'm just like, I'm probably just not gonna respond. Go give it. If I think like it's actually substantive, I'll respond to it. If it's not, respond.
okay, so like you wouldn't want to postpone at all? Is that what you're saying? Like that's just
Yeah, I probably just want to end the debate here. If you ask me to debate tomorrow, or at least this debate, I'll debate like another topic. But this debate topic is just so ass. We haven't gone to like actual scaling yet. It's like so bad.
all right. Well, I guess I'll just give my response if you don't think that it's like substantive.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so basically you question like the severity of like how emotional like Boa would be, right? That's basically one of your points of contention. I'll just like address this one first. Yeah, the reason why I think that it would be a high severity is because she's already risking blowing her cover by like just fighting the Marines. Because like that she's going against her job. Like she's literally like blatantly like going against the authority in her job, which that could risk blowing her cover, which that's just putting in risk the thing that you're saying that like she wouldn't want to put in risk. So that just makes my interpretation inherently more likely off of that. You said
I
like
mean,
two
my
other things.
point.
I wrote them down. Hold up.
Go ahead.
It's like yeah, and then basically you're questioning like why the vice admirals would be relative and why Boa would be trying.
So the trying point is gonna like fall under the rationality
Okay, wait.
point.
So the reason why I think that like Smoker is gonna be relative is because like we literally have a statement saying that you have to have relative like combat prowess and like charisma to be at a certain rank. So if they're at the same rank, they should be around the same tier of strength and charisma. Like that would just like show that they're probably relative. And then for the third thing that you said, let's see, is if Boa nah, yeah, that's pretty much everything. Never mind, bro.
Okay, so for the Boa thing, like I do think she is like irrational to some degree, or maybe you can think it's rational since he loves Luffy. But I do think like she is working off her emotions to a certain level. So I guess you proved that, but I don't think that this level necessitates like she's gonna go like overdrive and just like basically destroy whatever potential ties she has to the world.
Okay,
Because
but
yes,
here's the thing. Wait,
attacking Smoker would put her relationship in jeopardy, but it doesn't outright destroy it, right? Because they didn't denounce Boa until Doflamingo did the whole Dressrosa fuck up, and then they had to serve him, and then they denounced Boa. but they didn't actually do it after Marineford, meaning they didn't find her actions like drastic enough in order to just say, "Oh, you're no longer a warlord." So I do agree, like it's irrational, but it's not rational to like a crazy extent, like you're suggesting. As for like the
Okay,
second
wait.
thing,
So my question is,
go
like,
ahead.
yeah, you bringing up future events. Like, how is Boa aware that what happens in these future events is what's gonna happen? And also, basically,
Uh,
the whole thing, like, the reason why I'm like bringing up all these indicators, what I'm trying to say is, if there's multiple like consequences of my conclusion, it's just going to be the case that my conclusion is more likely be a Bayes theorem.
okay, so for the first question, my point wasn't more so saying that Boa has like knowledge about future events. My point was just kind of saying like if this thing is just lesser severity than like a thing that I'm proposing, which we do know is the
How does
case, and
Boa
my
know that it's a lesser severity
no,
then?
no, she doesn't have to know that. I'm saying if this just is true, right, that it is lesser, is lesser of a severity, right? Then like we would have to determine whether or not Boa sees it to be the case that these two things are comparable. That would be like the presupposition. Because if we do agree one thing in actuality is just less drastic as another thing, then you saying that Boa doing one thing means that she's gonna do another thing, or at least makes it likely or stipulates it, is like a presupposition as to how Boa views things, or to like the severity of that thing in actuality. It can't be that thing in actuality because we already determined that it is less drastic. Then it would have to be like a presupposition about how Boa views it, which you haven't determined. And then as for like
Wait,
the
no,
second
I
thing you
think
said,
that
you keep on like cutting me off, but like you have like 2 points I haven't addressed yet.
okay, with the whole severity thing, like, I think that under your stance, you've actually shown that it would be the case that Boa would take this with a big severity, because you literally show like Boa going on the island and like posing as a warlord, even though she's literally on Luffy's side, and she's like trying to get like Ace saved. So that shows it in the context of this situation. Yet she is taking this with big severity.
I mean, I do
My
agree.
bad, I
Like,
got crossed, bro.
I do agree. She's like doing drastic things, like arbitrarily drastic. I agree, but I think like what I'm proposing is more drastic since the consequences are going to be higher, right? So like her sneaking Luffy in,
What's
I
the
guess there's
distinction?
like a possibility. I guess like there's a possibility she's caught, right? Her sneaking Luffy in, and like they strip her of her title. I don't even know if they would, but I guess there's a possibility that happens, right? But obviously that's going to be different than just like outright killing a fucking vice admiral, because that's like out in the open, everyone can see it. That's not like even a covert action. That's like something that's just like
Okay,
blatant.
wait. So if you're
Like,
gonna claim that,
can I address like your other things,
all right,
because we keep on going down the line just to
dude,
make
we can
sense.
just do this point first, bro. So if you're saying that there's a
Well,
possibility,
if we do this point, then you'd have to agree that the next point you're gonna wait for me to respond to the other two things, because I have to respond to them at certain at a some
yeah, it's
point. We can't
fine,
just
and I can
continue.
repeat them if you want to. Okay,
No, no,
so
it's fine. I remember. Go ahead.
okay, wait. Oh nah, you know what's weird? Like, I forgot what to say because like, so
Yeah. So what you said before, I don't know about what you're about to say, but what you said before was the fact that like basically certain ranks correspond to certain like combat powers and
wait, not
charisma.
that thing before, like in the previous point that we were.
I don't know what you're about to say, so I can't help you with that. But if you forgot that, you might as well just let me respond to the previous thing you said.
Wait, I think I'll remember it if you repeat yourself. You repeat yourself.
Levels of severity, covert operations,
Okay, yeah. So
different
basically, I'm
levels.
asking you to prove why you think that like Boa sneaking in Luffy would possibly be a greater severity than like Boa
Uh,
just.
I kind of explained it. Some things like out in the open, and other things like covert.
Wait, no, the thing that's out in the open is literally like her fighting Smoker. What do you mean, bro?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, okay, her killing Smoker, right? I agree, her fighting Smoker is out in the open, and that is like a pretty crazy thing to do. But her killing Smoker out in the open would be even crazier. So her simply stopping Smoker and like simply stopping him from attacking Luffy is like a pretty crazy thing, but her killing Smoker would be even crazier. So my point, that's like kind of my point. It's like you can say that these like add likelihood to the idea that she was going all out and actually trying to kill him, but like I don't think you actually prove that, because it's like something that's reliant upon like the severity of what she's doing, the severity of her, which is like a presupposition that we have to come to a conclusion to before we like make any assertions that it's like likely or not. Because you said like, oh, if there's like multiple things pointing towards my conclusion, and because like Bayes theorem, I don't know whatever theorem you cited, but because of that theorem, like it's more likely, which I would agree. Like if it were the case that there's more things pointing towards you being correct, then it would be correct. but you haven't really established why these levels of evidence would correspond to a higher or more significant case, or at least a case that's not necessarily equivalent. It doesn't even need to be more significant. If we just can't determine that it's equivalent, then it doesn't necessarily apply. I also want to respond to the other two things you said. So the thing you said beforehand was that because like this
Wait, I
range
thought we were
which is
doing this
rotated-
point by point though, bro. Like what?
Yeah, we were, but then you
We
like
respond
made,
to what I was
but then you were, but then you made 2 points, and then I haven't been able to address those 2 points from. And I've been tracking those 2 points in the back of my head, and we can continue, but I'm just never gonna get an opportunity to address that. As you like.
Yeah, I can just repeat them then, bro. Like I don't
No,
see.
I know what you said, but it's not a matter of you repeating them. It's a matter of me getting the opportunity to respond to it.
No, you will. We can just like conclude on this point and then go on to the other ones. Like, what's the issue
But this
with that?
point is kind of like because this point is like kind of like those points help this point. So if you are wrong in those points, it would help this. I mean, I guess we can conclude on this sub point, sure. I don't really need any conclusions, so I think I already said what I have to say.
Yeah, can I just like respond to the last thing you said?
Go ahead.
Okay, bro. Okay, yeah. So, like, basically, what you were trying to say is that like it would be even crazier to kill Smoker. Like, yeah, it's crazy to fight Smoker out in the open, but you do realize that like fighting somebody in a war situation can be seen as like attempted murder or like that can be seen as like treason. So I don't see like these would both be seen as crazy things. Like I don't
Yeah,
see
but
how
my,
like you're
my
necessarily
problem is
thinking
that we're
one's more
never gonna
crazy
come
than
to
the
a
other.
conclusion. Like I feel like this is something you just need to like acknowledge as subjective and you can't really determine because anything you say, I'm going to be able to respond to it. Yeah, you can't say, oh, this is like a crazy thing. This is like generally something that's crazy that like is severe. I agree that it's crazy and severe, but like, is it the same as just outright killing him? Probably not. I mean, people potentially seeing Bull's actions and interpreting it as an attempt to kill Smoker is possible. I think that's a better result than her just outright killing him, right? Like, I'd rather people think that I attempted to do something than me just outright doing that. So it can be the case that these things are like equivalent. We don't know. It's just hard to determine. It's relying on so many presuppositions that's impossible to fulfill. The other things that you said are more important, which is why I should highlight those things and we should actually talk about those things because those are things we can actually come to a conclusion. These things, like this is like a waste of time.
Wait, no, it's not a waste of time because I can show why it's not subjective.
I agree it's not completely subjective, but my point is that it's relying on, okay, you can do it. We're just going to do this for like the next 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So the reason why it wouldn't be subjective to why in
I
this
agree it's not
situation
completely
you
subjective.
see
Wait,
this
I
as
agree.
like attempted murder is basically I already highlighted this. The way that I highlighted this is it's literally like in the context of a war. And when people fight in a war, like they're usually fighting to the death. So that would be like an indicator that, or at least for the people to see that, oh yeah, that Boa might probably be trying to kill Smoker. Like I don't see like what's hard to understand about that, bro.
I mean, I
No,
agree.
it's not subjective at
Usually,
all.
wait,
It's an
I
argument
agree.
for my position. Like what?
I didn't say it like I said like 2 times. Like, just stop saying the subjective, please. But like, I do agree. Like, usually in a war, you're trying to kill somebody, and usually if you're attacking somebody in a war, like people are gonna assume that you're trying to kill them. But I don't think these are usual circumstances. Since Bo is like in a state, it's like she's like in a place of authority, right? She's a warlord. Smoker is a fucking like vice admiral. I think like warlords are afforded more rights, but regardless, the point is like this is not a usual circumstances. There's usually not infighting in the Marines. So how another Marine would interpret that is like completely like subjective. Another Marine can see that and think, what the fuck is Smoker doing going against Boa? She's the fucking pirate empress. She's the person that Sengoku respects. She's the person that's afforded all these rights as a pirate. Why the fuck would Smoker go against that? And another person can see that and say like, oh, Boa's tweaking. What the fuck? And like, it's like it's dependent on whoever's seeing it. Well, I do agree it's possible. My point is more so just that, like it being possible for a person to interpret it as attempted murder, I think is always going to be less disastrous than just outright murder. Since one of them's like a worse, like a potential thing, it's not guaranteed. And the other one thing is like just completely guaranteed. If you murder somebody, people are going to see it as murder. That's just like the way it is.
Yeah. So basically, you're trying to say that, oh yeah, one thing is guaranteed, and the other thing like wouldn't be guaranteed for people to say it. But I don't think how is that actually relevant if I'm making mine like more probable? And let me just address what you said like before.
I guess it wouldn't be, but not. But go ahead.
Okay, wait. Oh, bro. I don't know. Like I semi forgot it. That's the problem, bro. It's like fucking. I don't know. It's either because it's late or like I was thinking about something and got like off track about my thoughts, bro. Like it's just fucking like weird. Can
That's
you
like
just
the
like
worst debate
wait? Can you
recording.
repeat like the last part, bro?
Uh,
Like just like the very last part, because I think that's what.
so somebody can see that and think, oh, what the fuck? Boa is tweaking. Why is she attacking Smoker? And then another person can see that and say,
Wait, no.
oh,
Like I
why the
mean, the
fuck is
part,
Smoker attacking Boa? That's a
no. What
crazy
I mean,
thing.
the part before that. That's what I mean. Okay.
My point was just like, well, I do agree it's a crazy thing that people like normally assume case. I don't think these are normative circumstances. What's happening in this scene is highly unusual. So how a Marine should interpret it is kind of different. It would depend on how the Marine views those characters as individuals. So if a Marine has more respect for Boa, then I think that they would view Smoker attacking Boa as crazy for whatever reason, since Boa has higher authority. But then if somebody like doesn't think Boa has higher authority, thinks she's like a fucking filthy pirate that shouldn't get in the way of the Marines, and they're gonna think, oh, what the fuck? She's trying to kill my captain. Why is she doing that? She should be stripped, right? So I think like these are weird circumstances that are gonna have weird outlooks on it. You can't just say in a normative scenario where there's enemies fighting, then it's going to look like this. You're going to have this interpretation. This isn't a normal circumstance.
Yeah. So basically, you're just trying to say, oh yeah, it's not a normal circumstance. So like we can't apply what would happen in normal circumstances to here. Like that's somehow like a
Basically, yeah.
distinction. Okay. Yeah, but I don't see like why this is something that would only apply to normal circumstances. Like in circumstances of like fucking treason, like in wars, I think it's still like generally intuitive and not even just generally intuitive. It would just normally happen like in real life and in fiction that like in these situations of treason and where people are fighting in wars, like one would be trying to kill the other. That's what would usually happen. And then basically you're saying, oh well, if this Marine has more respect like for Boa, then they may see it as, oh wait, why the fuck is Smoker fighting Boa? Like this is just like bad or whatever. But no, but here's the thing, I don't see why they would be focused on that if they're in the middle of a fucking war. Like they gotta focus on themselves not dying. Like obviously they don't want to fucking die. Like I'm hoping you would agree with that, right?
I do agree, but I think like there's something you presuppose and I presuppose. Intuitively speaking, if something happens in a war with two figures that are very important and highly influential, that's something that's probably going to be remembered at least during or after the war. I don't think that's something that's going to poof into midair. If you do think that's something that's going to poof into midair, nobody's focusing, nobody cares about it, then that would just be more reason for why Bo would be willing to do it without it having severe consequences.
Okay, but
But like I kind of called this out. Like I precogged this 30 minutes ago that this point is so fucking redundant, and we are gonna talk about it for 50 minutes because you're just not gonna be able to. This is like kind of what.
oh my god, so can I like address the whole like after war thing? Yeah, so
You
I
cut
think that
out.
after war they're not gonna like, even if you do want to say that they possibly might have any like type of cognitive bias, if they have context, like they're gonna have more credence to appeal to the context rather than whatever potential cognitive bias that they could have for like having more respect for one combatant over the other. Like if it's after war, then that's just not gonna be relevant.
Well, it being afterward doesn't really matter because I said that this matters as to how you view their authority as individuals, which is going to be highly dependent on the individual, or at least on certain standards that we're not privy to, right? So it can be the case that warlords are like just taken as serious authorities over vice admirals. It can be the case. We're just not privy to that. We don't know. So that can be something, or it can be like a personal bias thing where like somebody thinks Bo is like the pirate empress. She has so many feats. So Goku personally called her to attend Marine Force. She has this high position where she's standing right next to the podium in the most like significant position of like defense, and like she has all these accolades. So you can think that Smoker attacking her is like tweaking. You can think Smoker is like totally in the wrong, or you can think that Bo's like a treasonous bastard, hunger, whatever. So my point is
Okay,
more
well,
so
I feel
just
like I
that
already addressed the whole like.
my point is more so just that yes, the context would help give you an understanding, but how you view these characters and certain standards that we just might not be privy to will change your interpretation of the text.
Yeah, okay. So I feel like I addressed the whole bias thing, like, but I didn't hear the first thing you said, like before
I'm
the
just
whole
tired.
like.
I'm
personal
sorry,
bias.
dude, but I'm tired of repeating myself. I'm tired of talking about this point that's not going. Can we
Okay,
just
yeah,
go
we can
through?
just move on. It's fine then.
Yeah, like I just
Let's
want
finish
to.
it.
Okay, I'm gonna respond to those two things you said like an eon ago. I'm surprised I even fucking remember it. But holy shit, did I just forget it? Oh yeah, so you said to begin with, the rank of the Marines, I do agree, like there's certain standards for certain ranks, and this is the same in like IRL too. Like for certain Marine ranks, you need like certain accolades or certain feats or certain qualifications. This doesn't mean that everybody within that subset or that rank holds the same accolades, like qualifications or strength or whatever, like whatever you want to say, will qualify them for the rank. So I do agree they both have to meet the bare minimum requirements of being called a vice admiral. I don't think that means they're all in a relative range of vice admiral strength. I just think that means they're both bare minimum vice admiral level with some variance because they're obviously can excel further than just like the bare minimum requirements. And that's it. Like that's the only thing I want to respond to. Otherwise, like I'm just kind of done with this. You can say whatever you want to. I don't think it's going to change.
Okay, so what you're saying is that there's a certain bare minimum, but that bare minimum doesn't have to be like it doesn't necessitate them being like on the same level. It can just be the case. Oh yeah, they both have met the bare minimum of being
Yeah,
a
that's
vice
all. That's
admiral or
all that.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Them being vice admirals, that's all that tells us that they both met the bare minimum requirements. However, this doesn't mean that they haven't excelled further. We just don't know.
Yeah, okay, but like that would just be like inherently assuming that there's a big range or like a big gap between like the bare minimum to be a vice admiral and the maximum where you're pushing becoming an admiral.
I think that's like I think that's a fair assumption to make. I mean, we have pre-time skip level characters that are vice admirals. For example, on the sea train on the way to Water 7, Zoro fought an admiral. There is an admiral called on Water 7, and the Straw Hats still managed to escape. There was a vice admiral. I said admiral, I meant to say vice admiral. Sorry. There was a vice admiral that fought Frankie, and Frankie beat him in one attack. There was a vice admiral that fought Bonnie, and Bonnie beat that character in one attack. So like vice admirals do have very bad feats, and they do have very bad showings narratively and just in the story itself. So yeah, like admirals are just way stronger than vice admirals. There is like a pretty large range of variants that you can excel at without being an admiral there. And if you want to
Okay,
appeal to
wait.
like
You said
if you want to appeal to like the bare minimum requirements of being an admiral, just like arbitrary and we're not privy to it, then it would just be impossible to determine.
wait, you said that it'd be impossible to determine like what about the bare minimum about becoming an admiral?
So if you want to say there's a bare minimum of being a vice admiral, and there's a bare minimum of being an admiral, and you're presupposing that the gap between those two bare minimums could necessitate that two people can not be relative, but also be vice admirals without the person who's like way superior isn't just like an admiral. I'm saying, yeah, that is like a possibility, but if we're saying that that's the case, we just don't know the bare minimum requirements of being an admiral, then we just don't know. Then that would just be your answer. Are they relative? We don't know.
Wait, but I think that like the admirals that we actually see in the story, or like the five that we see like in the part of the story like with Luffy, I think that they're like portrayed as like being above like normal admirals. And the reason why is because they have a statement of being like the strongest fighters in the military, which we know that normatively this shouldn't be the case if like the fleet admiral would be above that title, which you would have to
I
agree if
agree
you
with
would
you.
see
Okay, wait, no,
the
but this
story would
helps me.
say.
This helps me because my point is that if there's a high level, right, a high disparity between vice admiral and admiral, that's a big gap. Then that
No,
means
that
that
doesn't
you can
help you,
wait,
bro.
wait, wait, no, no, it does help me because my point was that if there's a big gap, then that means you can excel further in the rank of vice admiral without necessarily being relative to somebody else who meets the bare minimum requirements of being a vice admiral. So we don't necessarily know if all vice admirals are intuitively relative because they meet the bare minimum requirements, since the ceiling for being a vice admiral is way higher than the bare minimum requirements. So Smoker
No,
could be
bro.
way higher than the bare minimum requirements without meeting the requirements of being admirals, and we wouldn't know.
Okay, what I'm trying to argue is this is something that wouldn't normatively apply to the ranks. Is this something that would only apply in the situation of like the admirals that we see in the story and not like general admirals, like whatever the possible past admirals
I
were
think you're
reported
getting like a
to
little
be?
like I think you're getting a little tunnel vision. I'm gonna help you like track your own. So your point was that No, you're presupposing there's a high level of variance between the bare minimum requirements of vice admiral and the requirements needed to be an admiral. If there wasn't a high level of variance, right, like gap between admiral and vice admiral is very small, then that would kind of imply that if you're way higher than a vice admiral and you're not relative, then you would be an admiral. So you being a vice admiral implies that you are relative. That was your point. But
Yeah, but
obviously,
that's
if we don't
compatible with what I'm
know,
saying. But
no,
the reason
obviously, if
why,
we don't know, then we
yeah,
just don't know.
Dude, can you let me like explain? So the reason why that's compatible with what I'm saying is like, let's just say that like what's normally acceptable to be an admiral just isn't like acceptable here. So it can still be the case that there's a small gap between like the
And
maximum.
it can, but we'd have to prove it's likely. Can we just stop talking about possibilities? Because your point is like a positive assertion.
Wait, no. So yeah, I did like make it likely. The reason why I made it likely is that these admirals are like highlighted to be the strongest pirates, which you know that normal admirals shouldn't be, or not the strongest pirates. I mean the strongest fighters in the navy. Normal admirals shouldn't be just because they'd be below the fleet admiral via the ranking system. Like yes, dude, I don't
That
see.
that wasn't the thing that I'm asking you to prove. I'm asking you to prove that it's likely that the gap between a vice admiral, the minimum requirement of a vice admiral, and the maximum requirement of a vice admiral without being considered an admiral, I'm asking you to prove that that's like a small gap. If we don't know, then we don't know. You are trying to make it likely without actually giving anything to prove it's like. It's just a waste of time. You're just wasting my time.
Yeah, okay, so like you're fine with the other stuff. You just want to like jump into like me proving that it's likely, right?
I mean, the other stuff is like very true, and I already agreed with it. You're actually saying the other stuff like ridiculously for no reason. You bringing up the fact that an admiral is considered different than a fucking officer because of the gap in like, tiers and strength. Obviously, agree.
Okay,
That
yeah.
was
The
that
reason
was
why
never
I think
something I
that is
disagreed
because
with.
wait. So like you are aware that there's multiple vice admirals that were considered to be admiral candidates, right? So if the gap was like super like big, then I don't see like why does it happen? Like for
Well,
example, like
because
we
there
have
are multiple vice admirals that might be like admiral kind of like Garp, Gion, and whatever that other nigga was called. I forgot her name. But that those can be exceptions. Those don't have to be like a standard. Like there's also
okay,
multiple
wait. So
vice
we have
admirals
three
that wait.
examples.
There's also multiple vice
Yeah.
admirals that weren't admiral. It's like those random people that were on the Buster call to Water 7 that allowed pre-time skip Luffy and Straw Hats to get away because they couldn't fucking swim. You think Garp would allow pre-time skip Luffy to get away if he was serious? No, he would just blitz to their fucking ship and destroy it. But obviously, the level of admirals, or the level of vice admirals that are considered to be admiral candidates, aren't necessarily equal to the level of those random fodder pre-time skip admirals. So this other admiral that pulled up to the island, which we don't even see him in the fucking panel.
Wait,
Like
can
I'm
you show that
just
any lobby thing that you're talking about?
the admirals that pulled up on the Buster called to Annie's lobby.
Yeah.
You want me to show that they were vice admirals?
Oh yeah, and that like Luffy and the Straw Hats were able to get away from them. That's what you're trying to argue,
Okay,
right?
the vice admirals pulled up on marine ships because the Straw Hats managed to jump on the Sunny.
Okay,
They,
can I
they
just
they got
respond to the
away.
other
Like
thing you said?
I'm just like, look, dude, like that's not a big point. I'm not gonna go to water to Annie's lobby to find the evidence for that. But that's not my point. This is like something that's intuitive and would be true regardless. I don't need examples proving it to be. It's just something that
Okay, so
like
we
not
have
like
like
everybody not necessarily being equal is like just that's not the example. Not like the examples aren't necessary just to give you a general understanding.
okay, wait, so let me just respond to what you were saying. So if we have three examples of like vice admirals that are potentially considered to be admiral candidates, then like every example, it's increasingly less likely for it to be the case that like these are just all exceptions.
I mean, if you want to like if you want to
Because no, you're
oh like
adding
wait, if you want to like
analogies.
go band for band, if you want me to like pull out the list of vice admirals and go band for band with your three examples, then sure we can do that. But it's gonna be a big waste of time because I'm sure that you understand that the vice admirals in One Piece are more so not on the same level as Garp. I'm sure
Wait,
you're
so
gonna
you
agree
don't
with that. Like I'm sure you're gonna agree. Like majority of vice admirals in One Piece aren't really on that level. But we can go band for band. It's just gonna waste a huge time. I'm just gonna go to One Piece Wiki. I'm gonna search up vice admirals. I'm gonna go to those vice admirals versus Battle Wiki. I'm gonna bring up their feats and show how it's weaker than Garp. Show how it's not on the same level as Garp. So Garp is obviously an exception. And those other people that you listed could also be exceptions because all these people have varying levels of strength.
all right, so
I could do that if you want to, but it's just gonna be a very big waste of time.
with the whole like Garp being an exception or whatever. Okay, so even if I were to grant that Garp would be an exception, like I don't see why it would be the case that like the other two are probably an exception. And if you're asking me to like fucking like
I don't know. Are they exceptions? They might be. We've never seen them fight. We don't even know the level of strength they're at to even make a comparison.
wait, so you don't think that like two examples should be enough to like build an induction? I don't see.
Well,
like,
I
why
think
that's
it's impossible to build an induction with two characters we haven't seen fight. All we know is that they're vice admirals. However, we can't determine whether or not they're normal vice admirals or exceptional vice admirals because we haven't seen them fight. All we know is that they're vice admirals that were up for the admiral position, or like up as a.
Wait,
We've
no,
never seen
here's
them
the
fight.
thing,
We don't
though.
know how strong they are.
But there's a distinction between like these two characters and Garp. Like the important vice
Agree, but my point is that we don't
Can you let me
know.
finish? Oh my
Garp we
god.
know, with them we don't know.
Oh my
If we
god.
don't
bro.
know, we
You-
don't know. This is something I have to
cutting
teach
me
you in the
off,
debate. If we don't know, we just don't fucking know.
No,
Like, this
bro, I'm
is
not trying to like
crazy.
bring up things that we don't know.
You're trying
what
to
I'm
build
trying
an
to say-
induction off of admirals or vice admirals on a
Oh,
certain
man.
strength level when
Dude,
we
why
don't know
do
how
you
strong they are. All we know is that they meet some requirements to be considered as an admiral, but whether or not those requirements are actually sufficient is probably not true because they didn't become admirals.
Can
So
you
they
just like let me
be
finish?
considered,
bro?
but it doesn't mean it's actually
Cutting me off.
sufficient.
Oh my god, bro, this guy's like.
I'm sorry, dude, but just say whatever you want to say, and then we can stop this debate because you're just being bad, bro. This is just bad.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'll say what I was trying to say like before like you rudely interrupted me like 5 fucking times. Like, dude, why do you always do this, bro? Like, did motion really like get you that riled up, bro? That you were like fucking.
At first it was motion, now it's you because like you're just saying things, dude.
Okay,
You're
yeah.
just
The
yapping.
distinction that I'm trying to give here is that like vice admirals like Garp, they do actually have important narrative, and like so it seems to be the case that yeah, same with like Smoker, for example. So it seems to be the case that important vice admirals like tend to have this narrative where they tend to be like centered around like the main characters, and unimportant vice admirals don't. So if like Suru and fucking not Suru, like the girl and like the guy, I forgot their names, if they don't have this narrative like that's centered around the main cast, it's just gonna be more likely that they are normal vice admirals instead of like important ones.
Okay, but that's dumb because there's so many characters in One Piece that don't have a crazy narrative, but are stronger than people who do have narrative presence. For example, the pre-time skip Straw Hats had an insane narrative presence. They had insane narrative focus, and Smoker, as a consequence, also had an insane narrative focus because he was the main vice admiral chasing them. That doesn't mean that Smoker in the pre-time skip or the Straw Hats in the pre-time skip are stronger than the admirals or vice admirals in the post-time skip who don't have as heavy as a narrative. Like we know
Bro,
that
but
there's
here's the thing.
we know there's vice
Oh my
admirals in the post time skip that can fight fucking Frankie, but they have like 2 panels of screen time and no statements, and we have to figure out their names, some fucking VV cards and like SBSs. So narrative presence does not equate to strength. It doesn't even increase the likelihood of you being strong. In One Piece, there's weak characters that have narrative presence. There's strong characters that have narrative presence. There's weak characters that have feats. There's strong characters that don't have feats. It doesn't matter. You have to prove this. This is not something you could just try to slide your way out of not proving. You have to actually prove this. If you can't prove it, then don't make a claim that you can't prove. You've been trying to prove it for the past 30 minutes. You failed. Every single point you made, you failed. You failed for the past 2 hours. Every single point you try to make, you fail.
I've not been failing for 2 hours. Okay, we can see when we get like the fucking judgment, bro.
What
Let me
judge?
clearly
What
step
judge is
on
going to
it.
want to listen to you waffling for 2 hours straight? Name me one judge that would want to listen to that.
I mean, if we're not gonna get a judge, then like, why are we even debating, bro? Like, I don't get. It's like.
Well, I don't know. That's a real question. Well, you don't want to end the debate. I've been wanting to end the debate for the past 45 minutes, but I don't want to just like ignore you so you can go around and say, "Hey, I beat Zkiller because he technically didn't respond to my argument." I'm just waiting for you to like admit that you're wrong, or at least like just stop debating. You don't
Okay,
even have to
wait.
admit
So
that
the
you're wrong.
whole
You
like
can just stop
time
debating.
skip narrative that you're bringing up, like those characters specifically have a highlighted narrative for being weak. So I don't know why like you bringing up them having a narrative.
Like what?
Okay, wait. Yeah, so it's literally stated like Luffy says that he's too like weak to save his friends, and it's also like highlighted that people in the New World are like genuinely like stronger than the people in the first half of the Grand Line. Like it's like
Yeah,
shown
but
to me
being
that you're your
weaker
friend.
does not mean you're weak. Like that's like an arbitrary thing. Yeah, you can be weaker than people in New World. You can be weaker than admirals. Obviously, Luffy's not gonna be able to defend his friends from
Zkiller, let
admirals.
me ask you
You can be
something.
you can be weaker than all those people,
Oh.
but you can also be strong enough to fight a fucking warlord. And a warlord is considered above average, way above average. So
Dude,
yes,
can I
you
like
can be
finish?
weak in the general sense, but you can also be strong in a general sense. So it just matters on like relative perspective. This whole thing
Okay,
is.
so if you saw two like random characters, like who would you assume to be stronger?
I don't know. You can consider them random characters, or you can consider them above average because they're admiral candidates. It just matters on your perspective.
No, bro, I'm giving like an analogy. Like if you see like a random side character that's kind of relevant, and then
Is
you
your
see like
analogy analogous? Can you
then
make your
see, like, a
analogy
whole nother
analogous?
tangent. Yes, bro.
Go ahead.
It's the same situation. I'm just saying, like, are you gonna assume that that random character is possibly stronger than the one that at least like has some narrative, even though Oda's
I don't
not
know
gonna
if
stand
those two
around?
characters are specifically highlighted to be admiral candidates, where they're the only three people that are highlighted to ever be considered an admiral candidate outside of the admirals that we already know. Then yeah, I would consider them to be like not just normal people. You can't consider them to be normal people, but I don't know like where's the proof of it. Those are the only three people that we ever know that were admiral candidates. Oh, the only other people that we know that even were up for the position of admirals are the admirals themselves. So you're telling me they're just normal people, just three random side characters who have no narrative like strength feats? I guess you can say that, but it's not necessarily true.
Wait,
Like
but
it's
I don't know
so
if we have
annoying.
enough sample size of like fucking admiral candidates to say like who or who isn't.
Yeah, but I
been
said
an
that's a
admiral
retarded
candidate.
point because you understand. I can go to the fucking One Piece wiki, look
All
through
right,
all the
bro.
list of admirals, and you're not going to be able to name me more than three people who are fucking admiral candidates. I can go.
Yeah,
I can
we
do
can
it
just
right now.
conclude
You want me
the
to do
bid,
that?
fine.
Okay, let me go to the One Piece wiki. One Piece wiki vice
All
admiral
right, dude. You
list.
said you wanted to conclude the point. Yeah, that's fine.
Vice admiral list. We have Monkey D. Garb, Suru. Oh my god, two fucking vice admiral candidates. Now let's go. John Giant. He wasn't a vice admiral candidate. Momanga. He wasn't a vice admiral candidate. Yamakaji. He wasn't a vice admiral candidate. Doberman. He wasn't a vice. So there's a fucking plethora of vice admirals that weren't candidates. How are you so stupid? You need me to? I'm sorry, bro, but you like the fact that I have to explain this is crazy. This argument is pathetic.
Does it say that they weren't candidates, or like we just don't know based off information in the story? Because
We
if it
don't
says
know.
that, yeah. So then I already attacked this retard. You want to just like finish?
No, you didn't attack it. If we don't know, then we don't know. I've said this like 5 times. If we have three, no. If we have 3 people, if you have 3 admirals, right, that have a specific accolade that is granted to them, and then we have 3 admirals that don't have that specific accolade, or no, not 3 admirals. Then we have 16 admirals that don't have that specific accolade. Are we gonna say because 3 of them who we know how strong they are, like that would prove like some sort of induction to prove like the other ones who we don't know would like follow suit? No, not necessarily, because there's other things that contribute to strength. There's certain things like how you were raised, your certain abilities, certain contexts. We can't just say this is all determined on their fucking strength level due to their rank. That's like a huge ass assumption you're just not proving. And I brought up examples of vice admirals are clearly weaker than the norm. Like I brought up examples like Momanga in the fucking in the war wasn't capable of killing Luffy. He couldn't bring in Luffy. Smoker in the pre-time skip wasn't capable of killing the pre-time skip characters. He couldn't do that. Red King couldn't kill Frankie. Tosa couldn't kill Bonnie. Promsky fucking he got one shot by Bonnie, let alone couldn't kill him. What do you want me to go around? Okay, we can go around. Fucking Gion and Toki Kake are vice admiral candidates, so they're 2 of the 3 people that were considered. Dalmatian isn't a vice admiral candidate. He couldn't even one-shot pre-time skip Luffy, who was fatigued, by the way. Like I gave you like 5 examples of fucking fodder vice admirals. So vice admirals it's not a crazy fucking category of people. It's not a crazy lineup. You know this. You read One Piece. This isn't something I have to explain. It's not a crazy lineup. These guys are fodder. There's 3 of them that are above average, but like it's a completely disingenuous argument to say those 3 people can be used to make some sort of likelihood argument, because most of them just aren't that strong.
Wait, and you also thought that I didn't prove that like characters with narrative genuinely are stronger than ones that don't have narrative. Okay, but we literally see like
Because
named
narrative
characters
doesn't have
like
anything to do with your
all the time.
strength. Unless you're saying the narrative is the strength, in which case it would just be like redundant.
No, what I'm trying to argue is that it's like shown to be the case that Oda like focuses more on these characters with narrative, so he just chooses to usually make them stronger. Like
In
we
what
have tons of
in what
examples.
sense? Or is their narrative not just that they're strong, but they also have a lot of influence and they also have like certain like aspects about them that relate to the story and the main characters in meaningful ways?
Wait,
Or
no,
is there
no. Let me
just
ask you
that they're
something.
strong?
You're fucking cutting me off, all right? So, like, what like important narrative for being strong does Arlong have? Like, he doesn't really have that, but like compared to
He does
unnamed,
have a narrative for being strong.
still to be stronger than the
No, he
unnamed.
has a narrative for being strong.
Yeah,
You wanna
for
know what his narrative for being strong is?
generally-
Oh yeah, for East Blue Villain. But as I said previously, which you just can't fucking track because you just don't understand what I'm saying. What I said previously is that strong is arbitrary and depends on your perspective. So I can say Doflamingo had a narrative for being strong. Is he strong? Well, no, because if he pulled up in Wano, he'd get one shot by every single fucking side character on the street. I could say that Jack has a narrative for being strong. He's one of the 3 fucking calamities in Kaido's crew. Is he strong? No, not necessarily. He gets one shot by these characters that don't have the same screen time as him. You don't need screen time. You don't need narrative presence to be strong. It's a fucking big ass world with millions of fucking characters. Of course, Oda's not going to be able to give an equivalent amount of time to all the strong characters. There are just going to be characters that are strong that don't have a lot of screen time. That's a ridiculous argument.
Okay,
I'm
wait.
done.
So let me ask you this. Yeah, I do agree that like strong can be subjective in a lot of cases, but like, do you think that there would be any like narrative, like strength value or like strength bearing to say that, oh yeah, I'm considered strong in the East Blue, so I would probably be stronger than the average like New World fisherman. If we don't know like how those compare, then we can't really say that there's a strength narrative here that's putting Arlong over. What we're saying
Well,
that would
no,
put
well,
Arlong over
we
is
do
just
know
him
how those compare.
generally
That
having
wasn't the
narrative.
point. We do know how those compare. That wasn't the
But
point.
why do you keeping cutting me off, bro? Like, dude, bro, do you want to just conclude this? Like, it's like fucking.
Okay,
You've been begging me to conclude for like so long, bro.
yes, please conclude. Say whatever you want to
Okay.
say, and I'll leave the VC. I don't need to say
Okay, bro.
conclusion. You're just wrong on everything.
I mean, we don't have to conclude if we don't have a judge here. We can just like end the debate.
Cool. Please end the recording. You're just wrong. You lost. Cool.
Venom, end the recording, bro. I mean, I did like kind of like beat
Yeah,
your
I
ass.
did say I was done like fucking 30 minutes ago, but like this guy's just he keeps on bringing. I told you 30 minutes ago, you're not going to be able to prove this. If you're trying to prove something you don't have the capability of proving. You said, no, I can prove it, I'm going to keep on trying. You kept on trying, you failed to do it. I guess I could just see the fucking future because of how obvious it is.
It's like I prove claims, then you keep like further questioning shit.
If you,
So I have to
yeah,
keep proving
that's
it.
how
It's not
that's how
me not
that's how it works. If I have an answer and I have a question and I have a way to bring up or counter
Okay, so
your
that's
point.
going
Wait,
back and forth.
If
Wait,
I
how
have a
you
way to
an issue
counter,
with me
yeah,
responding
you
to your
fucking retard. That's how debating works. If I have a point or a
Then why
counter
do you have an
question.
issue with the retard? Like what?
The reason I have an issue is because I'm saying my entire point is that we're just going to keep on going back and forth for 30 minutes. You're not going to be able to stop the back and forth because you don't have the capabilities of proving it. The entire point is that you're trying to make a point you can't prove. I'm going to have counters to that point. I'm going to say things in response to that point because it's retarded. And then you're going to say things in response to that response. And we're going to keep on talking because your responses are dumb and it's easy for me to reply to you.
Oh yeah, they're so dumb. That's why you were fucking. Oh my god, this guy isn't real, bro. I swear. This nigga was trying to cut me off the entire debate. Like, what the fuck? Jesus, man, I can't. Yo, wait, Venom, can you send me the recording?
Sorry, what?
Can you send me the recording, bro? That shit was like, oh my god, that debate
That
was
shit
so
is
fucking.